We are live on Pop Culture Breakdown. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a shitty 24 hours for Disney. Oh my God. But what a wonderful 24 hours it's been, or a little over 24 hours at this point, for, shall we say, Disney detractors, former Disney fans, former Star Wars fans, former MCU fans who are sick and fucking tired of all the agenda and bullshit going on. It's a Mickey apocalypse, folks. Now we had a interesting earnings call today, and Mike is going to go ahead and report on that, and then we're going to talk about Gina Carano suing Disney. We're going to talk about Elon Musk leaking a internal Disney document chronicling exactly the Disney standards for DEI enforcement and kind of a roadmap to ruin, a roadmap as to why Disney sucks so damn bad these days. It's going to be a hell of a show. And of course, we also have NELSON PELTZ photographed basically arm in arm with Elon Musk, which good God in heaven, Bob Iger's nightmare. If NELSON PELTZ enlists fucking Elon Musk to buy a shitload of stock and give him the proxy, game over, man, game over. And so we're going to go ahead and talk now about this and more. And our movie tonight is Blazing Saddles. We are joined here tonight by Gary Ambrosia and my panel of pop culture pundits. How are you, Gary? What's up?
I'm hanging in there. Hail to the chat. Hail to the wrenches. Hello out there in TV land. Let's get this one started.
All right. Thank you, Gary Ambrosia. We got Robert Wright. Hey, Robert, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good. Hey, everybody out there in chat. Hope you're ready to listen to some good, interesting stuff tonight because we got a lot to talk about.
It's going to be a fascinating meeting. And we've got Douglas Nelson, a.k.a. Mr. Nelson. Hey, Douglas, how are you doing, buddy, here tonight?
Well, like Gary, I too am hanging in there. And all apologies in advance that it's been a slow news week, but we'll persevere and figure out some good stuff to talk about.
Thank you. I know there's very, very little to talk about tonight, but we're going to do our best to stretch it out and try to fill this otherwise empty show. We've got Mike, Mexican Iron Man. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Well, let's see. I've never been simultaneously so angered and at Bob and so depressed as an investor. It is one heck of an afternoon. It's been one heck of a day, and what started as a day for, I don't know what I expected on the earnings call, but I'll get into what happened. Hail to you, Domcock. Hail to the panel. Hail to the mods and everyone in chat. Let's rock and roll, baby.
All right, buddy. Thank you for being here. And we've got Fet for Hire, the evil genius, who does so many wonderful, wonderful graphics for my channel. Just an endless font of amazing creativity and artistry. It's great to have you here, Fet for Hire. How are you?
Hey, DC, I am well. Thanks for having me. Hail Xanadu. Great to be back with you fine folks again.
Glad to have you here, man, as always. All right. Well, I tell you what we're going to do is we have a very disappointed and very pissed off Disney investor here tonight, folks, in the person of Mexican Iron Man. So we're going to start out with that Disney earnings call. Let's get to the breakdown. Issue 1, the Disney earnings call. Mexican Iron Man, you've been all over this all day, and you are a prime Disney investor. You've got a bunch of Disney stock. What is your take on the earnings call? What was the atmosphere like, and how do you feel as a Disney investor?
Well, let's see. As you'll see in my name tag here, I am no longer to be known as 33-cent dividend Mike. I am now 45-cent dividend Mike. And
Ooh.
yeah, so maybe, before I took some heat from people in the chat because that's not even enough money for me to buy 2 tortillas in a pack, let alone a whole pack. I can now buy 4 tortillas in the pack, but not an entire pack of Disney stock with that dividend. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over some of the content. I'm going to highlight a few things, and then I'm going to tell you what my analysis is of this thing. So leading up to this, there were 2 announcements pre-call. The first announcement was that one was yesterday and one was today. Yesterday, Disney announced that it has come up with a major new sports streaming service that's going to launch with Fox and Warner Brothers. They're going this new sports streaming venture is going to have a list of networks: FS1, FS2, ABC, ESPN, ESPN1, ESPN2, ESPN, blah 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 blah. TBS and all of that. So they're going to put all this together. So that was last night's announcement designed to get people excited. That's not new news to any of us who follow Disney because we knew that they've been trying to hold on to sports because from a streaming standpoint and a broadcast standpoint, that's about all they've got because we know how great their movies made for TV and otherwise put on TV or Disney Plus have been and not great. So, sports is going to be a hallmark going forward, but we already knew that. So that's kind of a non-announcement. This morning, right before the earnings call, Disney announced that it's going to spend $1.5 billion to invest with Epic Games to create an expansive and open games entertainment universe connected to Fortnite, Doomcock. And I'm just going to read from the Disney website press release, a quick paragraph. It says the Walt Disney Company and Epic Games will collaborate on an all-new games and entertainment universe that will further expand the reach of beloved Disney stories and experiences. Disney will also invest $1.5 billion to acquire an equity stake in Epic Games alongside the multi-year project. The transaction is subject to customary closing conditions, blah, blah, blah. So, and they say, in addition to being a world-class games experience with Fortnite, the new persistent universe will offer a multitude of opportunities, Doomcock, for consumers to play, watch, shop. Try not to laugh, Doomcock. Okay, I'm trying not to laugh, and you're laughing. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right.
All right. Sorry.
There will be opportunities to play, watch, shop, and engage with content and characters and stories from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, and more.
Oh boy. Jeez.
Can you just imagine? First of all, the fact that Bob's going to go spend another $1.5 billion, that pisses me off.
Of course,
because he's going shopping again. And second of all, what am I supposed to do with my little one, my little 10-year-old? Is he supposed to I don't know, get a machine gun and start mowing down Bambi in the new expanded Fortnite universe? I don't know. Is he just supposed to chop Snow White's head off? I'm detracting. So that was a big announcement prior to the call. Now the call itself, I've got some notes on that. Here are some of the things here's some highlights from the non-financial, more creative side from the Disney earnings call. Bob announced, now this I can't say without laughing. Bob announced that coming soon at Disney Plus will be the exclusive place where you can now go and watch the Taylor Swift Eras concert this fall.
Oh, well, now I'll sleep easy.
Right. And he even mentioned that the Moana sequel is going to come out. Oh, by the way, he actually took the second to say, "Hey, Nick Saban's going to come and be an announcer for us." I laughed. I threw up on my mouth when he said that. For those concerned on the Star Wars tip, we got confirmation that the Mandalorian Grogu movie will be coming out in 2025. There's no mention of the Rey movie at all, and The Acolyte is coming out in 2024. So for those of you who doubted that it was coming, he announced it was coming. And so we've got The Acolyte this year. We've got Grogu movie next year. At least that's what was said today, and Bob said it. But no mention of any Rey movie. That's also consistent. That's also consistent with guess who? Our future ruler of Earth, right?
Yeah.
And when he talked about the movies, he talked about, we've had some disappointments. He said that there might have been too much volume. Doomcock, here's what my note said. We may have invested in too much volume in our studio releases. We need to pull back on our volume because when there's high volume, there was low quality. And he admitted that the pursuit for high volume studio releases was what they were doing in order to fuel subscriptions to Disney Plus. He also mentioned that we had some disappointments, Doomcock. But we have some successes, and of the two successes he mentioned were, guess what? Guardians and Avatar. I mean, dude, I've been hearing about Avatar for like four quarters now. I'm sick of hearing about Avatar. Wasn't that like a year or two ago? I mean, it's like
Yeah,
forever.
and I mean that was Fox, and that was like in development a long time. But I mean, it's got nothing, fuck all to do with Disney, except they bought the studio that released Avatar too.
Yeah, and then he was a little scumbaggy. He mentioned about average revenue per user being up, but every time he talked about it, it was paid subscriptions were up because of price increases. And he kept saying paid subscriptions, ARPU is up. He didn't say all revenue per users because they've given a lot of stuff away because they have these deals with Verizon and Spectrum and all that other stuff. So, again, that's more wordsmithing that came out. He announced a stock buyback. Now, in overnight trading, after the market closed, the stock went up. It shot up into as high as 107, 106, 105. It's been floating between 104 and 109 in after hours trading after the call. I believe that is mostly due to, and again, no financial advice is to be taken here. Don't make any decisions to buy or sell based upon what we talk about here tonight. But it was up, and I think it was mostly up because of this announcement about that they're going to buy back the stock. Now, details are forthcoming. When that happens, how much, when that happens, and how that's going to happen, we can get into that in a little bit later. I want to just keep going through some of the highlights. Now, he was pretty proud to announce that the dividend's going up by 50%. So for those of us who got 33 cents, guess what? We're going to get 45 now, Doomcock.
Man, you're like 100 air.
Yeah, not so much, but no, it's no. Well, anyway,
$75 air or something.
Yeah, all of the questions. Let's go to the Q&A. So let me talk to you about some things thematically that I saw. Bob seemed like he was just trying to get off this call. He stayed to script. He didn't deviate. He sounded like he sounded like a guy who was playing defense and not for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He also kept his script, and he let Bob Johnson, the CFO, do all the financial stuff. They did announce that earnings per share is up, but it's a joke how it was up. The only reason, by the way, they had more sales, but they basically made less money. And the only reason they have an earnings per share is because they took so many write-downs in terms of the depreciation of the Galactic Star Cruiser and all the studio movie releases that they, and some of the TV shows that they shelved.
So profiting from losing, essentially, is what you're saying. They profited from their failures, tax deductions for their failures, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, the parks continue to fuel this company. The parks are fueling this thing still.
Well, that's bad news for them because Epic Universe is coming, and that's basically going to cut the throat of Disney World. I mean,
exactly. In fact, they even in the middle of the call released a teaser. I won't play it here on this channel because we might get copyright strict, but they put a teaser player of what this new Epic Universe gaming thing is going to look like. And it looks like, dude, my 10-year-old could put together a better video on his iPad. It was awful. Awful. It's on Twitter right now. It's awful. On the Disney webpage. It's awful.
Wow.
So what pisses me off more is the fact that he got a lot of softball questions from the institutional investors. So I'm going to tell everybody watching this show, if you want to know what's going on at Disney, Doomcock, shows like this, but it's Midnight's Edge or other shows, look, they don't know what's going on Wall Street. They're still sucking up and kissing Bob's ass. And the real fireworks are going to have to play out in April when the shareholders like me that are really pissed off and aren't just going to kiss Bob's ass, get to ask some real questions. And I'm going to try to get on that call. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'm going to try to register. I'm going to try to see if I can get selected because I'm pissed. I don't think I cannot believe a guy like this thinks that he can buy his way out of any kind of CEO investor credibility.
Wow. Jesus. Sounds like you're pretty unhappy, Mike.
I'm a little bit more calm now because it happened several hours ago, but I was hot. I mean, I was pissed. I mean, it's kind of like this. It was a gaslighting session. That's what Andre called it on Midnight's Edge. Andre called it and it was like nothing to see here, move along. Nothing to see here, move along. Nothing to see here, move along. It was literally a 1-hour gaslighting session where there were only 4 or 5 people that got to ask questions. The questions were softballs. And when you look at what Bob's announcing, I mean, our announcement is we're going to do gaming. We're going to do gaming and spend $1.5 billion to team up with Fortnite, which is just weird. Number 2, we're going to do more sports, which we already knew was happening. Number 3, Taylor Swift is coming. And I got reconfirmation about the Acolyte and the Mandalorian. That was my exciting call.
So
That's it.
Fortnite is basically just going to be a bunch of goddamn Disney skins on, rendered models. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kinda,
except you'll also be able to buy, I guess now, Disney merch in game. I don't know. I mean, that's what
oh
I'm reading the
God,
press now.
I don't buy Disney merch in real fucking life. I don't, sure don't want to buy it on my fucking game. Oh my God. This
I
is,
cannot believe this guy is getting away with this. I cannot believe the stock is still at 100. Honest to God, at this point, look, I was so mad after the call that I was ready for I understand what's happening. He announces a stock buyback, and we can get into what that's all about. But see, stuff like that, they're like little piñatas that you dangle in front of these investment Wall Street houses, like piñatas with candy in front of children. They're like, ooh, stock buyback. That means ooh. I mean, come on, dude. Come on, Iger. Really? One of the first things you mentioned in the first 5 minutes is Taylor Swift is going to be on Disney Plus. Come on, bro. That's all you got? Get out of here with that junk.
I don't know. I mean, stock buyback sounds like basically like Wall Street's excited because they're going to be able to dump their Disney stock. I mean, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. Well, it means that people they're going to buy back some of their stock, hopefully to take the price. It's market supply and demand, right? There's less stock out there on the street. You create value in the company, and then that if you hold on to it, Doomcock, see, it has to do with supply and demand, right? So if there's less stock out there on the public market, and then you're going to add value by doing things, well, then that means if you stay in and don't sell, then that means that in an ideal world that my stock is going to go up. It's you follow me? It's a basic supply and demand equation in Wall Street terms. So the whole idea there is like, hey, we're going to buy back the stock. So those of you that hold on to it, keep holding on to it because there's going to be less stock out on the street. And I, Bob Iger, have brilliant ideas, and I'm going to make the price go up. So if you just hold on to it and don't sell it off, then guess what? That means that your stock will be worth more in the long term. So basically, it's trying to say we're going to go buy back some stock from the peons, people like Mexican Iron Man, who don't have, but maybe, between, I don't know what I've got now, 100, 200 shares, maybe a couple hundred, some shares, whatever. And then, you're going to go buy it back from guys like me. And because I have different stock blocks, so they'll buy my 50 here, my 100 there, blah, 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 blah. And then the whole idea then is that the institutional investors hold on, and then value's created and their stocks go up versus letting it crash.
Well, yeah, lots of companies do this, Doomcock. It's not uncommon. As a matter of fact, there are a couple of other companies today that had earnings announcements that announced the same thing, a stock buyback. That's not an uncommon thing. Another thing that companies will do sometimes is reverse splits to increase the value of their securities and decrease the supply of stock.
And by the way, there was an announcement that came up. Now, I haven't read this announcement because this happened live while I was on Valiant stream, but Tom mentioned that he saw the subscribe numbers in the North American subscriber count for last quarter, which wasn't in the earnings calls per se, dropped by over 1 million subs. I got to research. I don't have the article. Maybe someone Robert or somebody can grab that. But the last quarter, not the quarter that was reported in the earnings call, but this one, or maybe it was one on the last earnings. But supposedly they lost 1 million North American subs, which is odd to me because they didn't mention anything about sub counts, and this is the first earnings call where they have never mentioned sub counts one way or the other.
Wow. Well, then that probably means it's true. And I can't help but wonder, is this buyback at this point to keep people that they don't want acquiring more stock from acquiring it?
Yeah, supply and demand. He wants the institutionals to have all the power and all the stock and all the votes. And then there's that video. I don't know if you're going to talk about it on tonight's show, but there was this video where Disney released it that said that how they want people to know it's a cartoon. Have you seen this one yet? It was released, I think, yesterday. Have you seen that one yet?
No.
Okay, Disney put together, it's on their website. They put together a little gimmicky cartoon of he's that duck. What was it called? Dr. Von. He's a character from the 50s and 60s. It's a Disney character, Dr. Von.
Yeah.
You know the one with the glasses?
Yeah.
And
right.
and it's this little gimmicky thing designed to tell people like me how to vote. And it talks about white voting cards, and then when they bring up the other cards, which are the pelts and the other proxy votes, they it turns to black and red, like evil. Don't vote for them.
Oh, God.
Vote for white.
Like a wartime fucking propaganda cartoon.
Exactly, Doomcock, exactly. And I got to tell you, maybe that's why I was so pissed off, because when I saw that yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, it made me feel like these people, Bob Iger thinks people like me are morons and idiots and stupid, that they can that we're just dumb children that are just supposed to fall in line like a bunch of robots. And that's not how people like us are. And I got to tell you, I can't imagine. I'm a pretty level-headed guy. I know I can get hot-headed here and there, but I'm generally pretty level about financial stuff. This is just infuriating what I saw today, and listening to what his big announcements were. I mean, this is Disney. For God's sake, this is Disney. He's trying to. I think what he's trying to do is turn this into like us. And then I forgot to mention this part. He was heavy into sports betting and talked about how with a young age demographic, that sports betting is going to be a major part of their future component with the sports partnership with Warner Brothers. I mean, do you think Walt Disney wanted his company to turn into Taylor Swift concert on TV with sports betting that's accessible to youth on a youth-oriented platform, supposedly Disney Plus? I mean, that's not. Is that what we want our kids to do? Is be able to easily learn how to gamble on a Disney-based platform? I don't think so.
No, I don't. I wouldn't think that at all. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre that they're having to stoop this low. And as to your point, Casey Osowski with a $50 super chat, that's incredibly generous. Thank you, Casey. You're a producer on Pop Culture Breakdown tonight. Casey says, apropos to what you were saying, hail all, did you guys hear that Disney brought back Ludwig von Drake to show shareholders the right way to vote? Like that's gonna influence. Oh, okay. Well, if Ludwig von Drake is telling me not to like throw in with Nelson Peltz, hey, maybe your like little pissant terrible dividend ought to like tell you how to vote. You think? Maybe listen to your fucking wallet instead of cartoon fucking character propaganda bullshit. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Doug's laughing. Douglas, what do you think about this?
No, I thought it would have been funny if during the call you suddenly hear a knock at the door, and then Bob says, "Oh, hang on a minute," and then you hear him talking to somebody, and the guy says, "Mr. Iger, yes, you've just been served." But still, possibly betting on Taylor Swift, if she wins the Super Bowl, which is likely, wow, that might pay off.
I got one more for you. I'm sorry, there's something more. I'm sorry to chime back in, but I got to tell you this, Doomcock. When you listen to this video of it, here's the other thing that was odd. There was an ambulance siren at least 3 times in the entire call. So I don't know what bunker Bob is doing this from, but it literally sounded like he was underneath the 405 underpass at some kind of like homeless encampment, because you kept hearing sirens during the call. It was the most bizarre thing ever.
He was in a undisclosed location, a secure location, so that Gina Carano's lawyers can't serve him.
Can't find him.
Now, where in the world is Carmen Iger? It's just I don't know. Maybe that's how it is. I don't know. Hey, Nick, welcome to the show, man. Good to see you.
Hey, sorry about freaking. I don't know what was going on with my internet, but my whole browser just locked up. That's why I ended up shut down, and then I had to come back in. That's why there was 2 of me in here for a second.
Yes, there were 2 of you. It was very, very confusing and disturbing. And, but that's okay.
But yeah, the article Mike was talking about, I had found it right before my browser locked up, and it said Disney Plus lost 1.3 million subscribers in the final quarter of 2023, and it said amid a hefty price hike that went into effect last fall.
Yeah, so yeah, I got the article up right here too. So
you do?
Yeah, that was the first sentence of it. It said, but managed to narrow its streaming business losses by 300 million during the October through December period. Disney Plus core subscribers, which includes U.S. and Canada customers, as well as international users, excluding the India-based Disney Hotstar, dropped 111.3 million from the 112.6 million reported in the previous quarter, according to Disney quarterly earnings results released Wednesday.
Wow. So
So what that means,
They
Doomcock,
keep
is hey,
losing.
we increased our prices, we lost 1.25 million, but the people that stayed paid more.
Mm.
well, I mean, who wouldn't want to pay more for Echo, for Secret Invasion, for She-Hulk?
Mm.
You know, I mean, to get that level of entertainment is just well, you have to spend for that kind of thrill.
Yeah, who would pay for any of that? Not me.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I guess 111 million people would.
I think those numbers are fishy. I don't know. I really don't see it, because I mean, what is on there? You know, they actually, like, I read articles saying that they cut a whole shitload of stuff from Disney Plus, like vintage, movies, live action Disney movies, but there's, still leaving all the modern shit behind. I don't know. It's defies all logic.
Yeah. And they're also supposed to start cracking down on password sharing, which is the
Right.
only way I can review anything on Disney Plus because I have somebody else's login. So I guess I'll have to go out on the high seas if they start cracking down on that.
We'll just call you Popeye.
Yeah.
This is okay. Well, Mike, I'm sorry that you were disappointed by the investors' earnings call there. But it's really funny. They didn't talk about NELSON PELTZ. They didn't mention Gina Carano's lawsuit. They didn't mention Elon Musk at all. But we're going to.
Oh, yes, we are, baby. Yes, we are.
Heck yeah.
Let's talk about the best news here, folks. Gina Carano is suing Disney and Lucasfilm for is supported and funded by Elon Musk and X. She is back. She is coming for them, and this is really, really, really great news, folks, because Disney's typical tactics in a situation like this are to grind down their opponents, to basically encourage them to settle, because it's going to be so damn expensive, to pursue the lawsuit. Oops. Gina has essentially access to bottomless pockets. He'll never even miss the lawyer money. Therefore, Gina Carano has no incentive whatsoever to settle anything. And oh shit, what will come out in a trial where Gina Carano is alleging that Disney abused her, essentially. I don't know what the actual filing will be, but essentially it comes down to Gina Carano being suppressed, being bullied, being forced out of her role as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian. The damage to her reputation, essentially being called, reprehensible, and, implying that, she's an extreme alt-right, person, or a bigot, or I mean, you just name it, transphobe. It's just on and on and on. And Gina Carano is primarily interested, I think, in redeeming herself, redeeming her honor, and getting some kind of vindication, and also forcing Disney to recast her as Cara Dune moving forward. The shit that is going to come out in that discovery. It is a fascinating situation. Gary, you sent me a thing about this story. I mean, you were the first one that actually contacted me about this yesterday. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the nice thing about this is if this actually goes through, it's gonna open a lot of doors for a whole lot of other people. In fact, I believe Elon Musk tweeted out, anybody else want to jump in on this? And Roseanne Barr chimed in and said, yep, I do. Which is great because she could end up owning her show back, which would be hilarious. That'd be really, really funny if she ended up suing ABC.
Oh, yeah, which is a Disney company.
Yeah. So this could open the doors for not only just celebrities, but, I know a lot of other people that lost their jobs because they said something on Facebook or Twitter, this average everyday people. And that would really be great.
Good
It'd be great
Lord.
to set a brand new legal precedent for this because you can't fuck with the First Amendment. And, there needs to be consequences for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gina issued a lengthy statement yesterday that I covered in my video, and just really defended herself articulately, eloquently, passionately, and this is personal for her. This is not some kind of like money grubbing stake. I think that she was. I read in an article that she was looking for $75,000 punitive damages at least. I mean, they said at least. So, I mean, it's not like she's suing them for, $300 million or something, but she wants to get her message out. She's probably not going to accept any kind of settlement. I wouldn't think. I mean, why the fuck would she?
Mm-mm.
Robert, you're shaking your head.
I don't think so. I think her main goal really is to she wants to get cast and be able to play Cara Dune again and work with all of her fellow actors. She went to great lengths on there to talk about how she still got along with every single person in the cast and how much they meant to her. And she really wants that back because at her heart, based upon everything I'm reading, is that she wants to be able to make movies and act and then produce and create stories and create, good stories that people want to see. And that's her main goal, is to be able to get back in and do that. The other thing that I think is going to come out of this is that, and we talked about this prior to this, is that Kathleen Kennedy is huge in this. And I think this is an interesting thing that's kind of on both sides of the scale, is that, well, this will probably, KK, a lot of her stuff's probably going to come up, as you alluded to in your video, Doomcock. But also, this may be grounds for Bob Iger to be able to get rid of her without having to pay any kind of retirement package or anything else for her as well. So you've got two sides of that going against KK.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something that I brought up in my video today because I recalled that let's look at the timeline on this. Gina Carano, in her lengthy statement on X, said that, several months ago, she was contacted by, lawyers employed by X / Elon Musk, and was talking to them. Well, several months ago, what else happened? We got this rumor from none other than Drunk 3PO, as reported in Bounding Into Comics. I think it was on a Culture Casino live stream, wherein he essentially said that there was a nuclear bomb of information that's going to drop about Kathleen Kennedy's emails, folks. Kathleen Kennedy's emails. And he said that this information was going to come out, and it's right around the time that Gina Carano was talking to the lawyers. So, maybe she let that slip to Jay, Drunk 3PO, and he said that this shit is going to come out. It's going to be a bonanza for YouTubers everywhere when it exposes essentially what a horrible job Kathleen Kennedy has done, the kind of things that she has pulled. I'm looking for the exact quote here. Hold on just a sec. I think it was let me see. I did 2 videos today, folks, so I'm a little bit fried here. Yes, he says this is what Jay said. The day is coming. The day is coming, and I know the day is coming, where there is a lot of emails, there's a lot of notes that someone has collected, And when you see this, it will blow your face off as to how disgusting this woman is, Kathleen Kennedy, and the people that are running Lucasfilm, especially over there at the Story Group. So you guys just got a little taste of what's to come. And then a little bit later during the stream, he added again, there's something. There's a nuclear bomb that's coming, and just be ready. All of our YouTube channels will benefit once this stuff hits. So I imagine that Gina Carano is a bit salty when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. And I mean, what better way to release these emails than through discovery in a lawsuit where, you know, she can basically say, hey, well, you know, this is, you know, this is evidence, this is subpoena, so I'm just going to release it. And then, of course, it's going to get out, and it's going to be all about, you know, how, you know, allegedly, I mean, the rumor is at this point, I mean, I don't know for sure, I haven't seen the emails, but the rumor is that Kennedy was kind of the chief architect at getting rid of Gina Carano. I remember when my Hollywood spies had a source that said that the first time Kathleen Kennedy ever met Gina Carano was on the set of The Mandalorian. They had a little after hours party over there. She went, she listened to Gina Carano. Gina Carano was paying for, I think, drinks and food for, you know, the cast and, you know, crew, you know, being very generous over there. And when Miss Kathy came back to her office and gathered her little acolytes around her, she said, that one is going to be a problem, which is essentially Henry V or Henry Plantagenet in Beckett saying, well, no one rid me of this troublesome priest. And at that point, they knew that Miss Kathy was going to target Gina Carano. That's the rumor that I was told by my Hollywood spies from a source claiming knowledge of that situation. And now all this shit has just been piling up and piling up and piling up. I think it's going to come out. Nick, what did you think when you heard about Gina Carano?
Oh, man, I was like, oh, the hammer is dropping. Like, this is great news. Like, go Gina, freaking stick it to them. But then today, I watched a lot of lawyers on YouTube reacting to this, and then my hype for this kind of dropped a little bit for two things. And who knows what's going to happen in the suit. But a few that I watched were talking about how this will never go to trial. It's going to get thrown out. Disney's a private company. You know, the only thing she might have going for is the defamation. She might be able to get something for that, but there's no way, no court is going to force Disney to recast her and put her back in anything that they're doing. They're you know, and then they're talking about free speech and how that's the First Amendment is for the government, you know, persecuting or arresting people. The First Amendment has nothing to do with private companies, and, you know, it's their choice and all that. So, well, after hearing some of these other lawyers talk, I was kind of like, oh, God, is this going to just all be for nothing? I hope not, because, again, this is all based on what they said they know publicly. We don't know about all the emails. We don't know. There's probably a treasure trove of stuff coming out. That could change things completely, and I hope that she's got some good stuff on her end. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm rooting for and hail to Elon Musk for taking this up and you know, dishing out the money for the lawyers. You know, because in her statement she was talking about, you know, she wasn't going to pursue it because she didn't even think there would even be a lawyer out there to even take her case. But apparently Elon knows some. So yeah, I cannot wait till this goes down and see what all comes out. It's going to be exciting news to report on for sure.
Well, but let me bolster your enthusiasm for a minute, okay? Because as you said, we don't know what Gina has access to, right?
Yep.
And this is a quote from her. This stood out to me because I was wondering that myself. Now, defamation is a serious thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't. I mean, so I mean, okay, maybe. Look, a court can't mandate that they go ahead and recast her. But I know Jon Favreau wants it, and I know that, I mean, they could make a deal to, try to derail things or something further down the line. But this is what Gina said. To my surprise, a few months ago, I received an email from a lawyer who had been hired by X to look into my story and many others. Turns out after sending them as much information as I could gather these past few months, my now lawyers and X believe wholeheartedly in my case and are moving forward. So
yeah, that's why I was sitting there like, okay, she's got a lot of stuff that's probably not publicly known.
Right.
So that's what I'm waiting on. That's what I want to see. And I hope it's substantial because there's nothing more I want than to see her stick it to Disney and then freaking lose this lawsuit. How cool would that be? If she wins the case, they have to then give her, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever, plus whatever their lawyer fees and stuff cost. It's just going to cost them more and more money. And then if she ends up coming back to Star Wars, because of course everybody knows Favreau never wanted her to leave.
No.
He definitely wants her there, and a lot of the fans want her there as well. So that would just be an awesome day. If all this pans out, she ends up coming back, she ends up winning. This is definitely exciting. I can't wait for more and more information to come out on this.
So what I think out there right now is with her putting this out and the kind of the little bits and pieces that we know that are public right now, I think that's the bargaining chip that they're offering Disney right now. I think she's got more on the table that we don't know about. But also, I think the big teeth of this also is the fact that she was treated differently than the other people, the other actors that were acting with her that did similar things or posted similar things on YouTube. And I think
which is discrimination
on Twitter, and it's discrimination suit more than anything else. And that's huge because that hurts Disney publicly, privately. It gives them a big black eye. And, that would force Disney to probably want to try and find a way to settle quick.
Nick, I was thinking the same thing because I was thinking, Disney is a private company. And if they did force her to sign some sort of agreement, which states that she's not going to make any sort of political conversation in social media or whatever, like she's not required to do that. That means it would probably that would be applicable to everyone.
Yeah.
Not just people who swing her way, but swing the other way as well. So why would they do that? Because these other people are obviously opening their mouths. Why can't she? So if that was the case, then there absolutely is grounds for breaking an agreement and defamation and all that stuff.
For sure.
But if there isn't, if there was never any agreement like that, then she still has the right to say whatever the heck she wants because there was no agreement put into effect before saying, hey, look, we don't want you to talk about politics on social media. So she could say whatever the hell she wants. She's still protected under the First Amendment. So I think that after thinking about that, I've been hearing a lot of the other lawyers saying, oh, it's never going to go anywhere. I don't think so, man. I think it will. I think it is going to go somewhere. This is really dirty on many, many ways. And they're going to realize that they're going to be attacked on multiple fronts, not just one angle from this. So they're going to realize that, we're going to have to fix this so that this doesn't look bad, like Robert's saying. And if she does return to the show, it would be only because she's going to end up winning some massive amount of money. And she'll say, look, forget about the money. I just want to be back on the show. And then a deal's made. That would be the only way. They're not going to let her just back on the show. That's not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
She actually has to win something, I would think, in order to play that
card. And if they do let her come back, are they then going to make her sign a new contract saying, look, you can't talk political stuff?
I don't think
sign it.
She wouldn't sign that.
Yeah.
She wouldn't sign that. I mean,
that.
The whole point is, look, she has said, from what I've heard, is that no, like I've heard that they've actually asked her to come back, but she won't come limping back with her, tail between her legs, like a whipped cur that's been chastised.
After she apologizes.
Right. No
through
fucking apologies.
reprogramming.
The only way back for her is through vindication. Only through vindication can she then accept the thing that she wants. You see what I'm saying? Like she
Yeah.
can't, she's got to have it back on her terms or no terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to look, Nick. I don't know what attorneys you're listening to, but I listen to Legal Mindset and I listen to Ron Coleman. Ron Coleman is one of the nation's, if not the nation's, constitutional law expert. And Andrew, our good friend who's appeared to this channel, is a good friend of this channel. Was a corporate attorney who dealt with Disney all the time. From a corporate standpoint, this is about defamation. It's about wrongful termination, and this isn't about cash. The lawsuit references $75,000. Okay, $75,000. But in order to get the brief that hopefully we've all read at this point in time by now, the briefing, that brief, I asked Andrew this morning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific. I said, Andrew, let me throw a guess out. If I were to hire you to do that, wouldn't I be spending? They've 200 to 300,000. He said, easy. They've already spent hundreds of thousands. This thing is not about money. And let me tell you something about settlements. The way these lawsuits work is that if they're interested in money, the attorneys contact each other and they say, listen, if you don't give us some blah, blah, blah amount of cash and give us these terms, then we're going to sue you. They threaten the lawsuit while they're trying to get a settlement. When they drop a lawsuit like this, like a hammer, this is not about that. This is bigger than that. I personally don't think we need to focus on whether or not Gina will come back on the show. I don't think we need to focus on whether or not she'll be back for any episodes of the movie. I think what we need to focus us on is what Doomcock started this whole convo on, is that this is a major this is a thermonuclear strategic bomb on the culture war where Elon Musk and Gina are now bringing attention to Disney. This is one of those situations where it's not about money, it's about what's right. And what's right is the truth coming about it. And all these other attorneys like Legal and all these other wackos are sitting here having mental masturbation sessions about, gee, I wonder, it's not going to go this way for this procedural reason. It's not about that. It's about, was this person wrong? And what facts need to be brought to light to show that what Disney did, which is what it always does, it does the wrong thing. What facts will be brought to light to let us to lead us to the light of what really happened here?
Exactly. And I would say to what Gary was speaking earlier, I don't think that she had any kind of signed document that would shut her up. According to her statement, quote, Hollywood says they support female representation and equal rights. Why then were my male co-stars permitted to speak without harassment and re-education courses or termination, but I was not afforded the same right to exercise my freedom of speech? And then she says specifically, artists do not sign away our rights as American citizens when we enter into employment. I have spoken to all my co-stars since I was fired, and there is nothing but care and kind words between us. I respect their right to free speech and do not have to think the same on every issue to be their friends and work with them, and I know they feel the same towards me. So it seems to me like there's a lot of code in this statement.
Yeah.
I mean, she may have run it by lawyers, laying out the various building blocks, and it seems to me like essentially she did not have any kind of gag agreement or anything along those lines. What do you guys think about? What do you think, Fet for Hire? Have you got anything to say about this?
Well, when I first saw Gina's tweet, I was ecstatic. Like, everyone that's been pulling for Gina for the last few years. But I mean, my question is will she get a fair shake in court? Because, we all tend to know how cases like this play out for people who, let's just say, have a certain set of beliefs. And like Gary said earlier, it will open a door for everyone that, has been silenced or, canceled. Mm-hmm. And so that's probably why they're going to try to squash this as soon as possible.
But the problem is, gosh, Elon Musk isn't hiring bargain basement lawyers. Elon Musk is not going to have some dumb piece of shit that just fell off the turnip truck from Bug Tussle, Bug Tussle's legal, he's going to have a top fucking lawyer or staff of lawyers. He's not entering this to lose. They would not have taken the case, Fet for. I'm just kind of trying to assuage your concerns there because, look, she's talked to them for months. She got them a lot of evidence that we have not seen, and they decided to pursue it. They believe, in their opinion, that it's a winner. Why the fuck would Elon Musk get involved in a losing cause? After all the beatings that he's taken over, Twitter and X and all the advertising shit that's happened over there. And he's gotten shit from, Tesla because, hey, you blew all this money and your focus is split off, et cetera, and so on. Elon wants a win. Elon's not going to take this high profile thing if it's a fucking loser. I mean, what do you think, Fet for Hire, on that?
No. You're correct on that. I just, I don't know. I definitely want to see a victory in it. And I'm trying not to get political, so I don't know how to say it. But we all know certain people at a very high level, let's just say, in our country, who are going through something similar right now, who as well have, the best lawyers available, and things aren't playing out so well. I mean, I definitely want to see this. It would be a true sign that the tides are turning, and it would be about time. As somebody who used to collect Star Wars action figures religiously, I won't give Disney a dime. I want to go back to loving Star Wars. But as far as like Gina going back to the Mandalorian, I don't even think she should put that on the table. I wouldn't go back. If I was her, I would just say
there's a reason for it.
That ship.
What are you saying, Douglas? Go ahead.
All right. I know what I would say. There won't be a settlement. The request to be back on the show is an offer for one. If they want to shut this down, especially since she's not asking for a lot of money here, and this is the beginnings of a deal, possibly, in that working it out, because the big thing here we don't know is what's in those emails. And boy, I wonder who gave her those. Huh, John? And because at the outset, like the rumor you referred to about Kennedy sending the goons with a hint and all that, would give her some amount of deniability. But if there is actual communications in these emails about this sort of shenanigans, that is so damning, because yes, defamation suits are notoriously difficult to pull off, even when it's kind of obvious. But when you actually have an email trail in this case, and as evidence in it, and of course the clear argument she lays out about, well, my male co-stars were political and all this sort of thing, it's a no-brainer, and it's difficult to argue one way or another how she doesn't have a case at that point. But most notably is, what goods does she have, and how damning are they, to the point of, hey, how can we make this right, Gina? What do we got? And this kind of thing. And that she's willing to go back to that role. Now, they would have to hammer out the conditions there, all this business about apologizing and everything. No, it's not going to do that. But then also, there's certain people I just don't want to work with or under.
Yeah.
And stuff like that could take place before you ever get to a courtroom, which, and how much longer can they let this go? Would these emails start to leak? It's more than likely. And that sort of thing is, how fast can you jump on this to shut it down, and how bad is it? And, you measure that out. So that's what I saw, because Elon had mentioned this some time ago about, hey, if you've been wrong on this platform, we want to back your claims, and she even retweeted that, said, well, and then, everything was quiet for a while. And then lo and behold, no, there was actual discussion, and she got lawyers and all that. And the floodgates are open. And so a lot of groundwork has been done and whatnot. And so but yeah, the idea that she would pursue it was not surprising to me. The idea in that she said, I want to be recast back as Cara Dune. I was like, oh, really? Well, this is, and I immediately saw that is already an offer on the table.
Well, but again, it's only going to be under her own terms, returning victorious when something is settled. In the chat, TM Biggs has a good point. He says, y'all are missing it. Elon has skin in this game. They will not settle until after discovery. It would open the door to, was Iger in the decision chain? which is pretty much what I'm saying, is that they're going to leverage the shit out of this, not for financial gain, but for propaganda wins and getting the information out there.
Yes, I'm referring to Gina's case alone. Elon, this is a whole other thing, and it's actually personal for him in this anti-woke thing, if you know about his son and everything about that. He wants more than just a win in a lawsuit. He wants payback big time on this woke movement. And Disney, that's like when the rumblings, hey, do you think Elon will get in on that? Yes. Because Disney is a big target and was a big force in this movement that's devastated that, this country and other parts of the world, and so that, that's a whole other thing there. It's beyond just Gina and Star Wars and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm, look, I cannot see that Elon Musk would just do this on a whim, that his lawyers would take this on a whim. There must be an angle there that they can exploit. And Michael Beacom in the chat makes an interesting point. He says, Elon Musk owns Twitter. Guess what was the communication instrument of choice by the woke mob when they dragged Gina through the muck? Elon already has 2 aces up his sleeve for sure.
He's all the DMs, those are his.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Mike? Do you think that that Elon and Gina have the goods? I mean,
I absolutely do. Elon's got a reputation. He's not going to file a frivolous lawsuit. He's just not. He's just this is a guy that's deliberate. And some people say, well, he's not going to run the company. He doesn't have to. He's like, well, he's not a creative. He doesn't need to be a creative. He just needs to be a businessman. I love people that doubt Elon's ability to fix Disney. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Whether it's this live stream or it's one of the other live streams with the other people, Doomcock, this live stream alone, we've got enough people that could fix Disney. You know what I mean? Then you throw Andre in the mix and, add some other people we know to the mix. We could fix Disney ourselves. And Elon, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's only done what? PayPal, X-Rockets, Tesla, the list goes on. Come on, get out of here with that junk. This guy is not about doing something frivolous or dumb. And let's keep this in mind. If you're on stage and Bob has just bragged to the New York Times and the world that he's pulled all this advertising revenue off of your platform that you just spent $140 billion on called X, you know what? That's a grudge. I'd go spend $50 to $100 million in legal fees just to ruin his day. I would do it yesterday. If I were Elon, I would do it yesterday. And I know we're going to get into this after the super chat break more than now. But I think to understand the Gina situation, we have to go to the Elon situation, which we'll do after super chats. And once we do the Elon situation, I think like your video did earlier today, I didn't know you did 2. I saw one of them, but we got to put it all on the board and sit back and take a look at it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to do. I think it's about time to go to some super chats, but I'm wondering if anyone else has anything in particular, specifically about this Gina Carano situation or anything that we've been talking about, or Elon backing her. Anyone have anything else that you would like to add?
Here's the other thing: is I've talked to work colleagues when this came out yesterday that aren't as big into pop culture as we are, and it kind of really opened their eyes about the situation about Disney. And so if this just even opens people's eyes as to the wokeness and some of the bad stuff about Disney, if they're not already getting it by now and understanding it by now, then this is already paying dividends for us and our side to end this wokeness stuff. So
I hope to God. And Rembrandt in the chat says Elon supports Gina plus points in publicity. Meanwhile, it drops the Disney shares, another lawsuit, which allows Elon to buy more stocks for less money and assist his, quote, friend, unquote. Is Nelson Peltz his friend? That's what we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. But let's go ahead and do some super chat, shall we? All right, so let's go ahead and get to some of these here. Let me see. Okay, here we are. Nemo Nova has been a channel member of mine for 35 months now, and she says, shots fired. Amen, Nemo Nova. Oh, shots were definitely fired. We're going to talk some more about that in the next hour, but Jesus Christ. Elon Musk, he practically declared war today on Disney, but we're going to talk about that. Wayu Hatan with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says Mickey is trapped and Elon the cat is approaching. Poor Mickey Rat. Bun Bun 299 with two $5 super chats in a row. Thank you, Bun Bun. Bun Bun says everyone should look up the webcomic Girl Power. Don't be fooled by the name. It's not woke. It's free to read, updates twice a week regularly. Girl Power follows comic book obsessed tomboy Sydney as she gets recruited by a newly formed superhero team with their ADHD often causing problems. Fair enough, Bun Bun. Thanks for reporting on that find. If you say it's good, it probably is. I'll take a look at it. Mr. Eagle Flying with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Eagle Flying. Says, okay, another question for the panel. Have you seen UFO, the 1970 TV show? Skydiver was the coolest thing, and I was 7 at the time. Plus, Lieutenant Ellis on Moonbase. Oh, yes. Gay Ellis, one of the cutest of the purple-haired moon girls. Any of the panel ever see UFO, the British TV show?
I would like to compliment whoever was the wardrobe designer for the females on that show, Doomcock. I had not heard of that show till you introduced me to it about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Mexican Iron Man excitedly continued to do what we will call a deep dive into those episodes.
They're great, aren't they?
Dude, God, so good.
I love that show. I can't believe none of the rest of you have seen UFO.
I've seen every episode twice. Like literally, yeah. I started it like on a Friday. By Sunday, I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this again. I literally did, like, it's all I did one weekend. It's all I did.
Damn, guys. You guys need to check it out.
Well, the thing that's great about it too is that they actually thought through, like, if we had the Force, because we had ships that went below water, we had the flying ships, we had the intergalactic. You had everything, man. It's like it was really well. It was really well thought out, in my opinion.
I agree. And Radioactive and Jorge L. De Jesus is pointing out that 1970, yes, the prequel of Space 1999. Yeah, UFO was the predecessor to Space 1999. The Space 1999 was supposed to be a continuation of UFO. Then, for various reasons, it changed to its own thing. But really great show. I recommend it entirely, folks, if you're up for that. Qui-Gon with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Qui-Gon says this really is the decade of you can't make this shit up, TM. Thank God for Elon. Amen. Thank you, Qui-Gon. And Don Lewis with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Don. Says he's quoting his cat dragon lady. If Elon Sama and Carano Sama desire, the Galactic Siamese Empire will happily lend a few legions of Meowtals, Perdukar, and Samurai. Thank you, Don Lewis. She is the Empress of the Galactic Siamese Empire, his cat, or rather, he belongs to her. Evan Peterson with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Evan says, love the thumbnail. Now we need DC as Han. The rest of the PCB gang can draw lots to see who is Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2. Got to thank Douglas Nelson for that wonderful illustration. It's great stuff. Thank you, Douglas. Cesario JPN with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Cesario JPN. Says today is the 50th anniversary of Mel Brooks' masterpiece, Blazing Saddles. James Woods pointed out on X that all the streaming services has a finger-waving nitwit scolding you about racism in the film before it starts. Fuck them.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you couldn't even make half of that movie.
No, not today.
You couldn't make the goddamn trailer for the fucking movie today. Yeah. Which is why we're going to celebrate it tonight. What were you going to say?
Physical media, people. Physical media.
Yeah, you've got to have it. You've got to have it. The Ginger Menace has been a channel member of mine and the queen of my wrenches for 49 months now. Thank you, Mary. She says, check it out. I'm almost to 50. Pretty cool. Yeah, almost 50 months from Mary Ashmead of being a channel member. Thank you, Mary, very, very much. Green Hat with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Green Hat says, have you heard about the Pirates of the Caribbean woke remake? Ah, Christ. Please give us the scoop from your spies. DEI, delusion, egotism, insanity. I've heard rumblings about it. A woke remake, I guess. Jack Sparrow is going to be Jacqueline Sparrow, or who the fuck knows? It's just so sick. And we're going to talk about the source of that sickness, because that's one of the things that Elon leaked yesterday. And it's just so goddamn funny, folks. You're going to love this stuff. Demo Man Chaos, who's been a Dementite of mine for 43 months now. Thank you, Demo Man Chaos, says, woke. Whoa. What is it good for? Woke. Huh. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. He says, sing it again now. Woke. Huh. It's good for absolutely nothing. Cheers to 43 months. Thank you, Demo Man Chaos, a fellow lover of classic rock. Paulavider Gamer with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Paulavider Gamer, says, hail everyone. Listen to that earnings call. I have never seen so much smoke being blown up so many butts. That absolute lies that I heard were something to behold by Iger and Disney. Well, it wasn't a lie. It was bullshit. It was just bullshitting us. All right, Bob? Hail Apollo Veter Gamer, man. Oh, man. Poor Mexican Iron Man. He's been on this shit for a long time today. And I'm really glad he was able to bring us this report. Stained Revenant has been a channel member of mine for 3 months. And he says, someone play the world's smallest violin for Bob. I'll play it softly in the background as we continue. Scott V has been a Dementite for 22 months now. Thank you, Scott. Says, hail DC and panel. Disney is the evil among us. Let Harvey out to destroy them. Been under the weather the past couple of days, but you guys make me feel alive. Glad to hear it, Scott V. I hope you feel better soon, brother. Stained Revenant with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Stained Revenant. Says, additionally, Darth Kennedy better be watching the sky for falling houses because the time is drawing near when we'll all be singing Ding Dong, the Wicked Witch is dead. Gina's retribution is nigh. I tell you, if she didn't have Elon Musk in her corner, she would not have been able to file this lawsuit. And so God bless Elon Musk. God bless Elon Musk for, siding on the side of free speech and siding with the little guy against big mega corporations like Disney. It takes a billionaire to get a little legal justice in these day and age. Aaron Pipes with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron says, all I heard on the Disney call was plans to turn Disney into a sports betting streaming service and cruise ship service. Gary should pitch Disney a Disney fans adult streaming like OnlyFans. Yeah. Well, we could get, Snow White lookalikes and stuff, doing stuff on OnlyFans. There might be some kind of public service utility in that. I don't know. Might have its positive side. I can't say. No Brie Larson though, please. No Brie lookalikes, for God's sakes. Good idea, Aaron Pipes. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Mr. Angel, been a channel member for 32 months, and Mr. Angel says Bob was reading from a weatherman white chart. I'm surprised he didn't give the Disney forecast in front of a green screen or something, That would have been funny and sad. Valiant Renegade with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Valiant Renegades. It had some great moments today during earnings call live show. Welcome to use the stream for clips tonight on PCB. Well, thanks a lot, Valiant Renegade. We appreciate it, man. Thank you, sir. And Jeff C with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Jeff says, if Elon gets a controlling stake on Disney, Doomcock will become a true Musk-keteer. Ba-ding boom. Thank you, Jeff C. A Musk-keteer. I like it. Way to repurpose trash into treasure. Aaron Pipes has been a Dementite of mine for 18 months now. Thank you, Aaron. Says, Yeah, the dividend news really hit Mexican Iron Man. Thank God there are no windows close by. Oh, geez. Oh, Aaron Pipes taking shots at
Well,
Mexican Iron Man.
well, one cannot have a window without someone to jump out of the window from.
That's right.
So
That's right. And he would not. He would not be. He would only be sticking his head out the window to maybe throw up, avoid like puking on the floor, something
dude,
like
that's
that.
what it was like today. I literally think I got sick at one point. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah, well, this is bullshit. I mean, this is bullshit. The only thing that like I think excited the market is the idea of Disney buying back their rotten, lousy shares. I don't know. I really know nothing about the stock market. I don't even know what a buyback is, but it sounds like that's the only thing that would really be sending the stock up. I mean, it's not going to be, hey, more sports. It's not going to be that. Jesus Christ. I don't know what good that's going to even do. I mean, ESPN about has as much sports shit as you can have. I guess it's the betting aspect. I don't know. These guys are so fucked. Trevin Lane with two $5 super chats in a row. Thank you, Trevin Lane. Says, hail DC in chat. I spent 4 hours researching the plot of the new Rocksteady game and I feel disgusted. My androids this Friday will be the writers of that trash game, so I can enjoy watching Harvey destroy them repeatedly. Well, thank you very, very much, Trevin Lane. God bless you, sir. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday Night Frolics this weekend. Valiant Renegade with another $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Valiant Renegade. Says you can offer a buyback, but you can't force holders to sell. Nelson and Elon, they ain't selling. Oh, fuck no. Fuck no. I think what they might be trying to do, though, is to pry any loose shares that are looking to sell away from Peltz or Musk. But we'll talk about that here in a
Jim
few
Cock,
minutes.
real quick, just to make it clear for you guys, real quick, how a lot of these things work is they offer to buy back at a certain price, and you have to kind of tender your shares for that price, for that offering by a certain time. And it's usually you've got like a month to do it. So they send something to the share owner saying, hey, we're going to buy back the shares for X price. And then you tender your shares for that buyback or you just decline it. And that's how it works.
And will that be at a over market price?
I guess that's what they're speculating. It could be anything. We don't know. I mean, sometimes they're a significantly higher price. Sometimes they're moderately. Sometimes they're a few bucks more.
God damn!
They decide to do
so. If they offered to buy back stock for a higher price than it's worth, then that is absolutely positive proof that they're just fucking desperate to keep Nelson Peltz off the board, to keep like Musk from supporting him by buying up stock. I have never seen a fucking company so goddamn desperate to stop the effort to make them a for-profit enterprise. I swear to God. I mean, what the actual fuck? Disney would rather keep jerking around, masturbating all over the investors' money piles instead of actually making money for those investors with this wanking bullshit woke DEI crap. I mean, my God, by their deeds shall ye know them. If they actually are offering more money for the stock buyback than it's worth, then that is clearly a desperate move to get more stock to prevent Nelson Peltz from coming in and ratting on them about how worthless and fucking woke these idiots are, that they are so willing to sacrifice investor money in support of their fucking political agenda and their social engineering experiment and their brainwashing and gaslighting of kids on fucking Disney Plus. Jesus Christ, what could be more of a giveaway than that, people? I mean, I didn't know this about this stock buyback thing, but if they do wind up doing that, if they're offering more money than the fucking stock is worth, then what is the end game there? What are they trying to do? Mike,
it's exactly you and Rob are exactly Rob and Valiant are exactly on point. Well, no one has to sell. They make it as an attractive option to sell. because the idea is that there's less supply of market demand economy. There's less supply out there of the stock, and it's something that's done a lot. And it's a signal to the institutional investors to hold on for dear life because we're consolidating. That's what this means.
God almighty.
Your analysis is so on point. I love the fact that it clicked in your head as to how you were able to draw the link between the financial strategy of what they're doing along with what they're doing from a cultural war standpoint. And by the way, there was no mention of the lawsuits today either. By the way.
Of course not. But I mean, it just occurred to me because I don't know this shit, man. I'm not a business guy.
I know you say that, but you're on point. Your analysis
it never occurred to me that they might pay more than the stock is worth. I mean, Robert Wright is nodding and saying that it's possible.
It happens. Yeah, and I mean, it happens a lot. I mean,
they're protecting their woke bullshit.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that it happens. It happens all the time, and a lot of times, what companies do is they will do it for smaller investors. So if you have less than 100 shares, we'll buy it back for this, and then they'll offer to whoever wants to do it. But yeah, they usually buy them back at a premium to sweeten the deal so that people will.
Oh my God! Yeah. Wow. Welcome, Andy.
Hi, guys.
He comes into me just ranting and frothing at the fucking mouth, but it never occurred to me that this would be the case. I just think this is so fucked up. I can't even. It's so transparent.
It is, if I were sitting in that conference room with NELSON PELTZ and his team, we would be ordering in pizza, and we would be calling Elon and having a Zoom call, and we would be figuring out what we're going to do, because this literally is a captain who is running this Disney ship is straight into an iceberg. And I think maybe that's what makes me so mad, because with all of the stuff that's gone wrong, this guy is just completely and totally tone deaf, completely.
Yeah, it's like the captain is frothing at the mouth and steering the ship right into the iceberg, and you try to whip the wheel out of his hand and push him aside, and he gets an insane look in his eye, and it tries to hit you with an axe, drive you away from the wheel so he can adjust it and head right into the fucking iceberg, like he's possessed by I don't know, some woke spirit, some woke vengeful spirit that's looking to wreck the ship and the economy and the company and everything else. Unfucking believable. Holy shit. My head is starting to hurt. Michael Beacom with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says pixie dusters have been swallowing the Disney bull crap without question for years now. So Iger has every reason to believe that they'll obey a fucking cartoon. I'm speechless. Jesus Christ. It's probably the first piece of genuine animation that Disney has done in like 2 decades. Fucking, actual cell anime. Or was it 3D? Probably 3D. Cheap bastards. Wayu Hatan with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Wayu Hatan. Says, is the stock being back at 100 going to help them?
Help who?
Yeah, Disney, I guess.
I don't know, man. Every time we have one of these earnings calls, it pops up and then it settles down somewhere. And
yeah,
I mean, I expected that it was going to pop up. I didn't expect it to crash today. That was never one of my expectations. I did, however, expect that someone on Wall Street wouldn't be a beta ass biatch simp and actually ask an intelligent question. And I think that was equally disheartening.
Yeah, it's just fucked up. A few more super chats and we're going to get to what Elon did today or yesterday. London 19657 with a $20 super chat. Thank you, London. Says, hey, Gary, love you, man. Looking out for the bunnies. I have a bunch of cats. I feel your pain. Hail DC. Hail London 19657. Right. I'm not sure what pain he's talking about regarding something about the bunnies, Gary, or is this just?
No, I have no idea.
Huh, okay.
Well, it might be that my rabbit chickens have recently found out about Gary's bunnies, and they're now apparently my rabbit chickens are going hunting this spring. I don't know.
Details no, that's terrible. Those damn rabbit chickens.
Yeah.
Marks 47 with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Marks. Says Star Wars Discovery will be a great show for us. Oh my God, that's all we need. Mikey Spock jumping over to Disney. Yeah. Jesus. You're just asking me to slit my wrists right now, aren't you? You really are. Mexican Iron Man has been an arch villain of mine for 50 months now. Holy shit, Mike. And he says 50 months anniversary as an arch villain. Woo! Doomcock, thank you for all you do for all of us, DC. P.S. Dear Live Chat, become a channel member today. Thanks, Mike. What a guy, huh? What a
Be
guy.
like Mike. Be like Mike and be a channel member.
Amen. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to this next item. I postulated today, after looking at all this in a fever this morning, because like I said, I was occupied on the Earth's surface, tending to urgent matters, and I was away from the base, and all of this happened without my knowledge. And so I was playing catch up this morning, and I was analyzing things, and it just seemed to me that Elon Musk, I put together a number of pieces, and I saw Robert Wright had sent me a wonderful piece of information about Elon Musk personally leaking an internal Disney document that was sent to him anonymously by a contact inside Disney. And I'm going to actually see if I can pull this up real quick. Hold on just a sec here. Let me I want to show everyone this thing. Essentially what it is it's a inclusion standards guideline document for internal use in the company. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys here, because this thing it explains so goddamn much, and it comes straight from Elon Musk, folks. Straight from Elon Musk. I'm going to try to zoom in on this so y'all can.
Oh yeah, I read this earlier today with Andrew, Legal Mindset.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this.
He had a conniption on his live stream about this.
Yeah, look at this. This is essentially inclusion standards. Standard A, on-screen representation. At least 3 of the following 5 areas need to be met to fulfill Standard A. Standard B, creative leadership. At least 3 of the following 6 areas need to be met to fulfill Standard B. Below the line, at least 2 of the following 5 areas must be met to fulfill Standard C. Standard D, industry access and career development. At least 3 of the following 6 areas must be met to fulfill Standard D. Context is crucial when evaluating if a group is underrepresented. Anyone involved in hiring decisions is prohibited from asking candidates and talent about their actual or perceived race, religion, color, etc., and so on. And yet, here, look at this. Characters. So A1, characters, 50% or more of regular and recurring written characters must come from underrepresented groups. Actors, 50% or more of regular and recurring actors come from underrepresented groups. Secondary characters, meaningful inclusion of underrepresented groups as secondary or more minor on-screen individuals, including background actors. Series premise, doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be interesting, just has to have meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in overall themes and narratives. Fucking hell. Episodic storytelling, ongoing meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in episodic themes and narratives. Well, right there. That's why Disney Plus shit sucks. This is no longer the inspiration of people with a burning desire to tell stories, with a passion for conveying some kind of dramatic or comedic experience. You know, the spark that comes from a true artist who is absolutely consumed with the desire to bring something meaningful, joyful, enlightening, exciting, thought-provoking to the fucking universe. Nah, just has to do these little checklists here. Standard B, creative leadership. 50% or more of producer and above on writing staff, and 50% or more of co-producer and below on writing staff come from underrepresented groups, regardless of if they're actually qualified or not. 50% or more of episodic directors come from underrepresented groups, even if they don't have a clue how to direct, right? Even if they have no real talent for it. And by God, we've seen examples of unqualified writing and unqualified direction in She-Hulk, in Willow, in Secret Invasion. From what I hear, I didn't watch it, from Echo, for God's sakes, right? 50% or more of episodic directors come from underrepresented groups. Casting director is from an underrepresented group or has not previously worked on a DGE show in this role. Meaningful representation of underrepresented groups in senior creative leadership. Promotion of a member of an underrepresented group into a role that constitutes career progression for at least one member of the writing staff. How about like writers that are good? How about people that know what the fuck they're doing? Same thing down here, below the line. Blah, 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 50% or more of line producer and or production department heads, DP, composer, for fuck's sake, costume designer, editor, blah, 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 come from underrepresented groups. The key here is underrepresented groups. That's the most important thing to the Walt Disney Company. I think that Nelson Peltz should be reading this shit and sharpening his fucking knives, because this is a roadmap to ruin, to fiscal ruin, to creative ruin, to the ruination of the Walt Disney Company and any company that has this imposed as a rule. I mean, this is fucking bullshit, man. Look, I believe in giving talented people the opportunity to shine, regardless of their race or their sex or their religion or their creed or their, sexual preference or, level of, physical ability or any of those other things, religion, any of that shit. But talent should be the primary consideration in the arts. We're not talking about factory jobs. We're not talking about manufacturing. We're talking about basically working miracles with movies and TV shows, because anytime that you see a great movie or a great TV show, it's a fucking miracle. It really is. It is a highly unlikely thing, right, Gary? Because any one of a number of things can completely ruin a movie or a TV show. Just one idiot, one bad script, one bad director, a bad composer, a bad actor.
Yeah, it's true.
Ruin a movie. Is this not correct?
Yeah, it's true. And it seems like the only thing we have to do in this situation is redefine unrepresented group.
Well, now underrepresented is like, straight white men.
Yeah, well, there you go. So then everybody's underrepresented. So
everyone's underrepresented now. So, nobody.
And the irony is they created that, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I just find this unfucking believable, folks. I mean, Elon Musk got a whole. So let me build my case here for a minute, okay? I just want you to know what we were talking about here. This is bad. I mean, this is hilarious. This is what we've long suspected, but had no actual proof of, and now here's the proof, leaked by none other than Elon Musk himself, the day before the big Disney earnings call. And wonder of wonders, miracle of miracles, Gina Carano's lawsuit against Disney is also released the day before this big Disney earnings call. This seems to me to be a concerted and calculated effort to essentially come after Disney by Elon Musk. Elon Musk is sponsoring Gina Carano's lawsuit. Elon Musk got a hold of this document and leaked it. And furthermore, and maybe worst of all for Disney, Variety had a article about Elon Musk and Nelson Peltz and showed them arm in arm. There's a photo of them arm in fucking arm So not only do they know each other, they're talking to each other, they're arm in arm, and God damn it, there was an article I read today where some they were basically, I think it might have been the Wall Street Journal, I'm not sure, but they were basically saying that Elon alluded directly to possibly working with NELSON PELTZ. And that's when that photo was taken. I can't remember the exact quote. Maybe the chat can help me out here. But holy fucking shit, folks. I think that, my wrench Big Daddy MRI basically phrased it very, very well in the message he sent me, where it was basically, if Elon Musk buys a shit ton of Disney shares and gives NELSON PELTZ his proxy, game over. That's it. There's no way that Iger can stop him, and that's why, hey, we're willing to buy back all your shares. Maybe we even pay you more money just to go ahead and pry it out of your hands to keep it away from the people that are trying to they're trying to make us profitable. And we don't want to be profitable. We want to just do our woke little wanking in the corner. We just want to go ahead and keep sucking and being sponsored, bailed out by BlackRock and Vanguard, and screwing investors over by using their investment money as public service announcement funds for the LGBTQIA MOUSE fucking agenda. I mean, I feel strongly that this was all of these things together is tantamount to a declaration of war by Elon Musk on the Walt Disney board and the current leadership of Disney, and Bob Iger, particularly, who pissed off Elon Musk. And I tell you, Elon Musk has got to be one of the worst enemies in the world to have in the whole fucking wide world. So I want to know what you guys think about that, because it seems to me like Elon Musk is coming fast and coming hard for Iger, and possibly is already aligned with Peltz. I'm not sure. Who wants to chime in on this?
Well, I think that if we're already hearing about this, there's already stuff that's going on that we're not hearing about. Mm-hmm. The fact that it would be mentioned at all, especially the lawsuit, that means that they're way ahead on this thing.
Yeah, so I think that's true.
Just releasing the information is that means that it's already pretty far along.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Musk just allied himself with Johnny Depp earlier today.
He did?
Yeah, they did a post about on Twitter about the new Pirates of the Caribbean with the new young diverse girl, and he just wrote Disney sucks. So he's kind of like, he's throwing the support behind Johnny Depp, I wonder if Johnny Depp has a lawsuit with Pirates of the Caribbean or anything like that, because and Roseanne Barr, Elon retweeted, he put out there, anybody else who has an issue with the anyone else want to get in on this with Disney, and Roseanne Barr said hello. So because she got fired from her movie or her TV show. Then you have all the timing coming up with this stuff. I mean, Iger did this himself. He went after, he picked a fight with Elon Musk to try and to deflect scrutiny from him, and it just brought more heat down on him. You don't piss off the richest man in the world who has a history of buying things up and doing what he wants with them. So I think this is pretty interesting. He's going to be looking to attack Disney on all fronts, especially now when they're weakest, because like I heard Mike earlier today had said that most of the revenue had come in from parks and cruise lines and stuff like that. And now you're going to have Universal taking a big chunk out of that. I mean, Disney World and Disneyland aren't going to die anytime soon, but if they're hemorrhaging from all these other wounds, they start losing any ground there. that's really going to be a problem. And they don't have anything on the deck that's going to make them any money. It's going to excite people. So they're in one hell of a spot. And if the stock dips and Elon Musk goes and buys 1 million shares or whatever, then you're going to see like a real hostile takeover. And I don't know how any of that stuff works, but I would imagine when you have that much, you should be able to get somebody, pretty much a point on whoever. I know you've got contracts, and Iger's supposed to be there well into the 2030s as a consultant and stuff like that, but doesn't mean they have to listen to him. So I think he is, what's the old saying? Give somebody enough rope. Well, I think he's given himself plenty of rope.
Yeah, I think so. Douglas, you look like maybe you want to say something.
Well, it goes back to the earlier statements. Is that Elon's been targeting Disney for quite some time, because you have to when you want to take down the woke, and it's a major target to take on. So hey, it was just a coincidence that he showed up in the on camera there with NELSON PELTZ. Just, hey, look who's here. Well, what do you know?
I don't know. They looked pretty happy together.
Yeah, they sure did, didn't they? And then drops the line about, maybe I'm going to buy something else,
Yeah. That was the line.
Yeah, I've got the article right here, Doomcock, if you want me to summarize it real fast.
Yeah, please go ahead, Robert.
Okay, so it's from Yahoo News, and basically, so Elon was over the weekend. Elon was in Los Angeles. NELSON PELTZ's daughter had an indie film that she directed that came out, and he was with them, and so he was hanging out with NELSON PELTZ and his daughter. And when they asked him about it, he goes, his quote is, "I'm just here with friends, thinking about what companies to acquire." He answered, quickly walking while chuckling to himself. Is what it says in the article.
Oh, guys, read that quote again. So what the fuck would the richest guy in the world, or one of the richest guys in the world, be doing at a indie film premiere of a daughter of NELSON PELTZ? Just wandered in for the free buffet, or is there some kind of agenda there?
Your guess is as good as mine, but he says, "I'm just here with friends, thinking about what companies to acquire."
Man, can you imagine how awesome would that be if Elon just said, "Fuck it, I'm just buying Disney out," and privatizes it like he did Twitter, and he goes rolling in to Disney and Lucasfilm like he did at Twitter with a kitchen sink, and just starts canning people left and right, because Twitter had a crap ton of employees that he freaking trimmed all the fat, and it's still up and running just fine. And that's probably the same case over at Disney and Lucasfilm. There's probably a lot of people that could be trimmed out of there. But man, I'd fire everybody day one.
You guys ever see the that episode that ended of oh god, I'm blanking now. Ari, when Ari goes through, he buys the ad, or he buys the talent or the agency.
Right,
Ari
you're talking about what was it?
My god, the name of the show. Entourage. Yeah, he goes in with the paintball gun. That's how Elon needs to go in, with the paintball gun, and just knock them all out. Now, in order to do this, what he needs is 51%. He needs 51% of about 180 billion. That's what he needs. And of course, he's not going to write a check himself. He'd have to assemble this cash. But that's what probably would happen. And there's a lot of angles to this. I mean, Bob Iger's such a scumbag and such a weasel. Maybe he even uses what's happened with Gina as a way to get rid of KK, hopefully. But who knows? I mean, there's a lot of angles to this. But I would love to see something like that, because what he needs to do is he has to replace the board. He has to get to 51%. And I would argue it's not 51%. He needs to get to 55 to 60%.
It's an interesting situation, though. It's definitely an interesting situation.
I mean, he'll definitely back Treon.
I think he would.
Dude, he's already got his arm around his shoulder. Forget about he's got him his back. What's the matter with you? What do you mean you think? What do you mean you think? He's wearing the same jacket where he said this to Bob Iger. And that's the thing. Bob has already cost him literally hundreds of millions in advertising revenue.
Yeah.
You don't, just and then Bob went and bragged about it right before Elon went on stage. That is no different than me going on a live stream talking smack about Doomcock and then showing up here. You just don't do that, people.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Bob Iger has no grace, none whatsoever.
Right. But don't you think Iger knew this was coming in some form or fashion?
Absolutely not. He is the most. No, why, Douglas? This is what blows me away. No, absolutely not. He absolutely did not know this is coming. This was not done in a way that they knew
I don't
it was
mean
coming.
In actual specifics, but that Musk was a threat to him.
No, absolutely not. Because Bob
really
Iger is an egotistical maniac that doesn't think that thinks he can do no wrong. He's never been afraid of anything or anyone. He is an absolute egotistical. He is a narcissist in its purest form. There is no element of here's one here. Riddle me this. Here's a riddle for the panel, and it's a joke, but I'm going to answer it myself. But I'm just going to say it. Riddle: why won't Bob Iger ever become an AI? The answer: because he'll never become self-aware.
Well, yeah, and also you got to think in the terms of this. Bob Iger wanted to run for president at one point. Bob Iger also is the CEO of one of the largest companies in the world. He feels like he's untouchable.
Yeah. Well, I think Elon Musk can touch him. I don't know if he wants to, but I think he can.
He's got more money than Iger and the entire board combined.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he could definitely help Peltz in his bid. But I mean, they of course publicizing the stuff that they want to get out, that Peltz wants to get out. I mean, Elon Musk could be invaluable for that. And just seeing them in that picture, that they're talking. That they're talking now. And strategizing together for sure. I mean,
and let's not be, and the thing is that, people are like, well, why would Elon, align himself with Gina? Well, let's go back. What happened? Basically, Bob, through Disney and all of its advertising and all of its networks, basically said, we're not going to advertise with Elon because the public narrative is that Elon is a fascist Nazi. That is what we forget. We got to remember that the whole reason that Bob Iger pulled this is because there was a narrative going around a few months ago that Elon Musk was a Nazi fascist. That's where it came from. And what happened? Bob says, well, we don't feel comfortable investing with someone who owns that platform that's got that reputation. So basically, Bob is saying by pulling his advertising dollars that he's saying that Elon's and so him and Gina may be intergalactic worlds apart, galaxies apart in terms of cash in their bank accounts, but they are literally an insult stone's throw away, one from the other, from Bob Iger, this asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense, and it just encourages me that, look, I don't know what plans that they're hatching, what strategies that Peltz has, what their objectives are ultimately, but every time that you see, Bob Iger's recruited more shares, or he's having a propaganda push in the mainstream media against Peltz, or blah blah blah, then you see Peltz pop up with Elon Musk in tow, or you see him with this restorethemagic.com spreading messages that frankly the investors ought to know if they care about their investment dollars and how they're being wasted. I'm heartened by this, folks. Fet for Hire, have you got any kind of take on this?
Yeah, I'm sure that Elon Musk is clearly gunning for Bob Iger. And the thing about arrogant people like Bob Iger is I'm sure Big Bad Bob thought he was dealing the fatal blow by threatening to pull the advertisement from Twitter, but boy, was he wrong. And if I could go back to those leaked inclusion standards, see, that could be a good thing, because it seems like the only underrepresented group nowadays are people of the Caucasian persuasion. So maybe everybody will now be included.
And talented people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, talented people. Well, I mean, look, that report that I did, the video that I did last Thursday or Friday, where a Hollywood writer, leaked an interview to my spies.
That was an outstanding video.
Thank you. It got underrepresented in terms of views. I guess the algorithm wasn't happy about it, even though people were talking about it all over the place. But this guy gets called in. He's filled out this form, this questionnaire about how do you identify, what are your pronouns, all this kind of shit, and it's apparently some kind of project that's a franchise kind of project that this individual had some expertise in. And he gets this real freak show of a person. I mean, I got a precise description of this person, but I didn't want to give it away. But anything that you guys picture, short of a twin growing out of her side, you probably wouldn't be too far off in your imagination. This freak. I mean, like in early 20s, and I'm talking really early 20s. On top of the world, head writer or showrunner or whatever it was of this particular thing, and essentially, just wanted to put a face to this document for the purposes of humiliating this guy, because they had no intention of hiring him. They just came in. So essentially, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't want to give away, the exact quote was incredibly insulting. I mean, and really vicious. But all I can say is that essentially, I wanted to put a face on this so that you can basically be blacklisted, that I can spread you, through my network of woke wankers and make sure that you don't get any work. And indeed, this writer has been rejected for like 8 jobs in a row mysteriously. So yeah, well, it's not so mysterious because he's a straight male. He happened to be a straight white male, but he said basically, well, I get the feeling that straight black male writers are also getting treated like shit, and maybe even straight women who don't bow down to there's 73 genders and 144 pronouns and all that kind of fucking shit.
Well, they eventually run out of targets, you understand, once they've canceled everybody. So then they got to move on to each other. That's where it always ends up,
Yeah.
Yeah. But it lines up with what happened to Gina Carano. They said, oh, you got to go through the tribunal and and all that stuff in the re-education camp. And still they were going to fire her. It was just the humiliation and everything was all part of it. And so
yeah,
same thing happened to this guy.
Oh yeah, God, I wish I got an incredible story about Kathleen Kennedy abusing a writer. I mean, viciously abusing a writer, but I can't even tell you about it because it would. I mean, surely she doesn't do this to every writer, so it would really out this guy. But I mean, it was petty and just nasty as fuck.
It doesn't involve a peg, does it?
Oh, no.
No, but something almost as bad.
In the Pirates movie.
The sad thing about all this, Doomcock, is you get these people like KK and this other person who's hiring, who probably don't have half the experience of the people that they're talking to, haven't ever done the job fully that the person's done, and yet they're put in a position just because of who they are, what they've done for somebody else, and it's just sad because you should have more meritocracy in all of the world.
Yeah,
there should be more meritocracy, and what I mean by meritocracy is that people with talent, people with experience should rise to the top.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of people credit Ronald Reagan for the collapse of the Soviet Empire. And while Reagan certainly had something to do with it, I think that ultimately what destroyed the Soviet Empire was this idea that excellence doesn't matter. There's no motivation for brilliance. There's no motivation to succeed over your peers. There was no great push for genius or competition of ideas, competition in the workplace, each according to his needs, et cetera, and so on. It just instills systemic, institutionalized mediocrity.
It's funny you mentioned that, Doomcock. Saturday, I went to my Tai Chi master's memorial service, and he grew up in China, and he was his family was very well respected. His father was an industrialist and owned a factory. The communists took over. They confiscated the factory, kicked them out of their home, and put them in a shack with all their 13 children, and told him that he was going to work as a menial laborer. He was the only, him and his sister were the only ones that got over here. And I'd asked him one time why more people in China weren't taking up these classical martial arts. And he said, a big part of it was that being it was a communist country, people had given up on the idea of improving themselves, improving anything, improving their conditions. They just kind of accepted that this is going to be their lot in life. And you look around, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get everybody to forget about greatness, forget about just all that matters is so you check the boxes. All these people on that list there, the most underrepresented people are people with talent.
Right.
If that's not there.
No, that's definitely not there. And it's just so disgusting. It's so upsetting, this whole goddamn thing, Andy. I don't know really what to do about it. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we got you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something weird is going on with my fucking computer, so weird shit is going on. Okay, here we are. Yeah, god damn it. It's just doing its weird chug thing. I don't know what the fuck is going on with it. I think Sabu might have, left a few pellets in there, little bastard. He gets everywhere. But I mean, it is very demoralizing. And you're right, Andy. I think that essentially what's going on here is these woke people are hive-minded, communist type people. I mean, I don't know if they even know that they're communists or not, but they hate heroism, they hate talent, they hate anything that features an individual standing out, because they feel comfortable in a society that glorifies mediocrity because they're mediocre and they don't have genius, they don't have talent, they don't have great ability or resolve or wisdom or intelligence. They're just average. And that's why that individual, the freaky showrunner or head writer or whatever the fuck she was, liked to go ahead and belittle a person of actual talent and achievement because it made her feel better about come on, you're not a talented or achieved, you haven't made anything of your life when you're 20 or 21. I mean, you're just starting out, but here she is, top of the world, and able to shit on somebody that actually has some goddamn experience and talent, just because she can. It makes her feel better about her sad, mediocre little life. And I think we're seeing that on a societal level. Any thoughts on that? Anyone?
Yes, you better hope that Duracell doesn't go out of business.
Anyone want to comment on that before we move on to some more?
I think you're 100% accurate. I mean, there's an absolute lack of ambition. There's a lack of moral fortitude. We were convinced to believe that it was okay to just say, hey, you didn't have to be religious or this or that or the other. Well, what it's left in, if not 3 generations that lack a moral compass and lack aspiration and lack a desire for greatness. And the truth of the matter is that human beings, by our very nature, we demand suffering in order to overcome, in order to achieve. Well, in the absence of aspiration, the absence of greatness, in the absence of moral fortitude, mediocrity sets in, and then the achievement of mediocrity becomes the new bar, and that bar is so low that it brings society down as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Well
Right.
said, sir. Well said.
I
Well,
learned it from you, buddy.
well,
I mean,
thanks, buddy.
I've been here 50 months. You know, I learned something here. You know,
You get a check plus happy face. All right. Well done. You pass, sir. You pass.
Mike gets more dividends from being on this show than he does from Disney.
Poor Mike. Oh, the pain of it. The pain. Well, folks, that's the state of Disney at this time. There are forces that are trying to change things. Elon Musk is one of them. NELSON PELTZ is one of them. Gina Carano is one of those forces. God help us if they fail. I think that really what I've been told by my Hollywood spies in general, folks, is that really all the forces of woke are looking at this challenge to Disney as like a challenge that they cannot afford to lose. Woke is kind of on the skids, and it's really not doing well, and everyone in the world is waking up to it not doing well. And if Peltz comes in there, and there is actually a company as big as Disney that is forced to turn around and turn away from the wokeness, it's going to be demoralizing and potentially catastrophic to their woke cause. And therefore, to my way of thinking, it's more important than ever that we succeed in this particular struggle. I pray to God that NELSON PELTZ, Elon Musk, all of these folks, Ike Perlmutter, can pull this off, because it really is kind of like a front line that if Disney succumbs, if their culture changes, if they back away from this DEI, bullshit, then it could kind of precipitate a collapse, like a domino effect. It could have huge significance, and I hope to God that this happens.
Well, as Nietzsche said, out of chaos comes order.
Don't
Yeah.
blow it out your ass.
Nietzsche, Mouse, Donald Duck. All right, folks, let's go ahead. I like that. I like that, Andy. I encourage that sort of thing on the show. I like it.
I stole that from Blazing Saddles. So,
Then we're going to get to Blazing Saddles here in a sec, but let's go ahead and have a few more super chats, shall we? All right, folks, let's go ahead and read some more of these wonderful super chats and hear what you guys have to say. Hashtag Guardian of Azarath with a £2 super chat. Thank you, Guardian of Azarath. Says hashtag I stand with Gina. Hashtag Gina did nothing wrong. Amen, Guardian of Azarath. Absolutely, entirely amen. Michael Beacom with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Michael. Says, what do Colonel Paul Tibbets, Major Charles Sweeney, and Gina Carano have in common? All have dropped nuclear bombs. The first two on Japan, and Gina on Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. Man, I really think, Michael, that, Drunk 3PO was onto something there. Whoever tipped him off, wink, wink, whoever tipped him off saw this coming, knew it was coming. And if Kathleen Kennedy's emails are going to be involved in this lawsuit, God help Disney and God help Kathleen Kennedy, because this shit, it's going to be nasty, folks. It's going to be nasty. John Chipola, JCVMF 214. Been a channel member of mine for 26 months at the Dumentite level. Thank you, John. He says, we all know what happened to Hillary Clinton's emails. Same playbook, I bet. I couldn't say. But it is an interesting idea. Yeah, I think it's there may be onto something there. Rachel Davin with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Rachel. Says, have the four horsemen Iger brought on to clean out Lucasfilm and KK's inbox already done the discovery Gina will eventually subpoena? Hope that makes sense. No, it does. It does. Look, you can't really fuck around with a subpoena. I mean, then you're getting into perjury territory, and we're talking about jail time and shit. So 100% that this would they would be aware of whatever was in KK's inbox. But the thing is, Cameron Pashaw, my good friend Cameron Pashaw, was talking about. He sent me an email. This was posted on his Patreon, patreon.com/Cameron Pashaw. And he's hypothesizing that this is all going according to design, specifically to target Kathleen Kennedy and basically humiliate her, facilitate the release of these emails, etc., and so on, basically forcing her to gracefully bow out. I don't know about that. I'm going to talk to him further about this, but it's just an interesting thought. There may be aspects of this story that we're not quite getting. Brian Menden with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Brian says, watch them kill KK's contract because of the lawsuit. Then Disney will clean Lucasfilm's house with Gina getting back in. That is possible as well, Brian. We really don't know how this is going to play out. We really do not know. But either way, in any scenario, if there is something to discover from Kathleen Kennedy, this is very, very, very bad news for her. No doubt about it. Wayu Hatan with a $2 super chat. Thank you. Wayu Hatan says, will the Witch King of Burbank get involved? I wouldn't think directly, but may be involved behind the scenes. I mean, God knows. I mean, where did these emails come from? Where did Gina get them? I don't know. Shrug. I can't say. I haven't even heard a rumor of it, but it's just funny that somebody was digging through Kathleen Kennedy's emails, and then bada bing, bada boom, they wind up in somebody's hands. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Sigvaldison with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Sigvaldison. Says the cult of Harvey reminds us all that once Harvey Cthulhu is free, the Disney issue will be resolved within 2 hours. Our eldritch god will reduce Disney to rubble, then afterwards will mercifully remedy everyone's issues. This is absolutely true. I want to say hey to Sigvaldison, hey to everybody out there. Yep. All your tax problems will be resolved. Got a mother-in-law you don't like so much, she'll be out of your life. Anything that you need from Harvard Cthulhu, any problems that you got, I can help. He's such a humanitarian. I really am. I know. Aaron Pipes with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Aaron. Says California labor law essentially makes it illegal to fire or coerce an employee over their political speech and activities. So Gina has them dead to rights. Well, thank you, Aaron. That is an interesting take on it. I mean, I don't know that they quote fired her per se in terms of she wasn't an employee. I think they simply excluded her from the show. Wouldn't hire her anymore. But I really don't know. I don't know her contract. I don't know the details of that, but that's one take that I've heard. So it's very difficult to know what's going to happen, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out some shit. I think that's a given. The question is, how much will we find out? And what will it mean to us? Roadhog 1167 with $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Roadhog says, my name is Jim, but people call me Jim. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. He rode a blazing saddle. Space Monk has been an arch villain of mine for 35 months now. Thank you, Space Monk. Says, all hail Lord Doomcock and panel. Hail to you, Space Monk. Hamilton Berger has been a Doomentide of mine for 18 months now. Thank you, Hamilton. Says, the comments after she was fired are the most likely avenue to proceed, especially if they can show similar conduct was tolerated for others. it'll be tough. Well, I agree, Hamilton Burger, but the thing is, Elon Musk has a lot of money. He has a lot of resources to recruit some damn good lawyers, and if they think there's something there, I would tend to believe them. Ian with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Ian says, can Johnny Depp give her some advice here? Probably. Although I don't think Kathleen Kennedy ever took a shit in Gina Carano's bed, to be fair. You know, I never heard that alleged. So I think it's a little bit different there. To Kathleen Kennedy's credit, I've never heard that she ever pooped in anyone's bed. So I got to give credit where credit is due, you know.
I'd have to think Gina Carano has better taste than Kathleen Kennedy, though.
Well, sure, sure, but I mean, you know, even afterwards, you know, Kennedy is not even rumored or alleged to have ever climbed into her window when she wasn't looking and taken a dump in her bed. It never happened, and so in a sense, in a limited sense, perhaps Gina is much better off than poor Johnny Depp was. Aaron Pipes with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Aaron. Says California law requires restoring her back to her job. It's very simple. If she wins, they must rehire her and return her to the show and any movies. I am an attorney too, and I can read the statute. Wow.
Yeah, but then they could hire her back and just kill off the character.
Well, yeah, I mean they can do that as well. I didn't know Aaron Pipes was an attorney. That's super cool. Thank you, Aaron, for letting us know. Zach Wicht with a $5 New Zealand super chat. Thank you, Zach. Says Gina showed us a true, strong, interdependent woman, not the woke fake image of a strong, independent woman. The woke KK group hated her for that. Oh yeah, for sure. Also, you know, she wouldn't bend down and kiss the, you know, ring of, you know, Kathleen Kennedy, wouldn't, you know, bow before the gaze of the eye of Sauron as it roamed across her. Gina Carano doesn't take shit. And Kathleen Kennedy can't stand anyone that won't take shit from her. That's just the way it is. Toddzilla with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Toddzilla. Says Roseanne Barr just reached out to Elon on X about being fired by ABC, a Disney company, because of her views. Hope more folks jump on this crusade. I certainly hope so too, Toddzilla. Although I don't know that. I mean, I think that the rationale for Elon doing this is, you know, Gina was essentially let go because of something that she specifically posted on Twitter. I don't think that Twitter was involved in what Roseanne was terminated for, although I really can't recall the circumstances. Was it something based on Twitter? If so,
she was. Yeah, it was Twitter based.
Okay, well then, yeah. I think we may have another party going on here.
Yes,
that's fantastic. God bless her. London 19657 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, London. Says, if you're not careful, you might learn things by listening. I am. I try to, London 19657. I try to keep learning all the time. I get tired of learning, but I still do it from time to time. Alcohol is a great teacher, by the way. Just want to let y'all know that. Keck44 has been a Dumentite of mine for 48 months now. Thank you, Keck44. Says officially 4 years, still no pushed button. Do it.
Yes, do it. Push the button, damn you. What is wrong with you?
I'm kind of addicted to breathing. Shit, you know, I kind of like to breathe.
You're a pussy.
Perhaps. London 19657 with another $10 super chat. Thank you, London. Says string vests. String vests is what London. What? Huh? What am I, John Voight in Midnight Cowboy? What am I, have a vest with fringe on it or some shit? What am I, working Times Square or in a rough trade? What is a string? I don't even know what a string vest is. Anyway, what do you mean, London 19657? What are you talking about?
He's been drinking a lot, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
we're not sure.
I just didn't know what the fuck that. All right. Anyway, thank you, London 19657. String vests. I'm going where the sun keeps shining. High Dragon Star with a $10 super chat. Thank you, High Dragon Star. Says the issue though is that without Favreau, Gina coming back is worthless. Unless we get someone who would take care of her, it's going to still end badly. Well, apparently, Favreau is still in the picture, folks, because, Iger did not talk about the so-called Ray movie, according to Mike, but he did talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and presumably Jon Favreau is going to be doing that. So, bada bing, bada boom, they get Gina back. Gina, returns in the movie as Cara Dune. It could happen. It's kind of an interesting situation. Aaron Pipes with another $10 super chat. Thank you, Aaron. Says Elon knows where each tweet came from in the suit. Anyone want to bet that all of the featured tweets in the suit can be tracked back to KK or one of her aides or minions known to be such? I don't think, Aaron, I would be very surprised if Elon could actually pull tweets like that. I mean, wouldn't that be like a violation of terms of service or something?
I don't think so. I think that was the primary reason why he bought it.
But to expose, you can't stop them from but to expose them. That's like private correspondence, isn't it? Or
possibly, I don't know. If you look at the terms of service of Twitter, it's probably not private at all. They probably own everything. If it's a free account you're setting up, you don't own it.
I guess.
If you pay for it, I don't know, but I don't think that it's I don't think it's protected at all. I think that Twitter owns everything.
I don't know that you could introduce that stuff into evidence. However, certainly there would be value in knowing where the bodies are buried and where to look for stuff.
It could start an investigation at least.
Yeah. So there is utility for it. What was that, Andy?
If KK sent nudes, that means somebody had to look at them.
I have not heard any rumors of that kind of thing either. So
I said if. I did say if.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's one. Very cool. Or not cool. I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. Damn you, Andy. Damn you, Andy Masterson, you son of a bitch. Everything was going smoothly, and now look at this. Now my nose looks like yours.
She's got the body of a 19-year-old girl, but she should give it back because she's getting it all wrinkled.
Almighty.
Well, she was in Temple of Doom as one of the dancers.
Which must really rankle her these days, right?
Well, there's a reason we haven't seen much of Frank Marshall, and it's because he's just turned to stone.
ELO wrote a song about him, oddly enough. It's so funny.
Yeah. He gets out of the shower, it's like Medusa, and he's out.
And he's not rock hard in that way. He's rock hard in an entirely different way. If you have any questions, go watch Clash of the Titans, folks. Clash of the Titans. Great movie. We've never done Clash of the Titans, have we?
We have
Y'all
not.
like Clash of the Titans? That's a great
movie.
movie.
I do. I like all gladiator movies with dudes in short skirts.
You like dudes in short skirts?
Fuck you, dude. That's like a Harryhausen movie.
I love it. I think it's great. Jeez, I love it.
Yeah. Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Isn't that grown man naked?
I feel dirty and violated. I don't know. God damn it. I just like a good gladiator movie with, fucking, Harry Hamlin and Burgess Meredith and fucking Laurence Olivier. But now it's Peter Graves in Airplane. I just don't know.
Yeah, and make sure we're talking about the original, not the remake.
Well, of course we're talking about the original.
Yeah, fuck the remake.
We're too old for the remake.
Bullshit. God damn. That was a good movie, man. I've seen that many, many times. Fun movie.
Yes, it is.
Israel R with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Israel R. Says, hail DC and panel. So many things going on in this clown world, and it's only February. Buckle up, Israel R. It's going to be a wild fucking ride this year, man. Yeah. I just feel it in me bones. I feel it in me bones. And Pender666 has been a Dumentite of mine for 11 months now. Thank you, Pender. Says Gina's co-start statement was about a post of Pedro Pascal's on X comparing Republicans to Yahtzees. Disney did nothing about it. Hail Doomcock and panel. Yeah, good point, Pender666. Yeah, they didn't do anything to Pedro Pascal, but they sure... Well, but that's because, KK didn't have anything against him, see?
Well, they also had that writer for Disney who had suggested that children with red hats should be recreating the Fargo scene, and nothing happened to him.
Oh, Christ. Wow. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and move on now to a movie that we all passionately love, but have to be very careful how we talk about. We cannot quote vast swaths of this movie, and do not quote those particular lines in the chat. Wrenches don't be afraid to come down hard on that shit. I mean, the only reason that we haven't done Blazing Saddles thus far is because there's so much great stuff in there that we can't talk about. And the only reason that I'm doing it now finally is because, I mean, Jesus Christ, when it's the 50th anniversary and today's the day, it's fate. But don't disappoint me. Let's keep it classy as we talk about this movie that we love. He rode a blazing saddle, he wore a shining star. Blazing Saddles, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the funniest movies ever made. One of the funniest Mel Brooks movies ever made. It's probably my second favorite Mel Brooks movie to Young Frankenstein, just because I am such a fan of Universal horror movies, and I feel like Young Frankenstein literally could be placed in that canon. I mean, it's just so beat perfect in terms of the look, the feel. But this movie is so fucking hilarious these days. This movie is kind of the cinematic equivalent of All in the Family. All in the Family, Blazing Saddles, both of these things will melt down snowflakes at 500 yards. They can't stand this. This thing is so goddamn funny, and they hate humor more than they hate discrimination. They don't understand humor. They have no sense of humor. They have no wit. They have no joy in their worthless fucking lives. But God damn it, we do. We've got joy, and this is one of our joys. And so go ahead and share with us what you've learned about this milestone of cinematic comedy, Gary Ambrosia, because this is a classic.
All right, kids, here we go. What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? On this very day, February 7th, 1974, exactly 50 years ago, the third film from the funniest man who ever lived, director Mel Brooks, was released. Nominated for 3 Academy Awards, produced on a $2.6 million budget, and bringing in over $119 million at the box office, and still to this day, completely pissing off everyone on the planet without a sense of humor.
Back it up to that fucking hang.
I couldn't possibly squeeze him in until next Monday. All right. Screenwriter Andrew Bergman wrote his first draft of the script in 1971 called Tex X. It was purchased by Warner Brothers almost immediately, and very soon after, Alan Arkin was hired as the director, and the role of Sheriff Bart went to none other than James Earl Jones. This first incarnation, however, dissolved quickly, and a new one began with your show of shows writer, Get Smart creator, and director of The Producers, Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks was not doing so great financially at the time, but after a chance meeting with studio exec David Begelman, he was given the Tex X script. Brooks stated that he would never work for hire, and Begelman offered him $100,000, and Brooks said, yeah, he could be for hire. Keeping the original concept of the movie playing 1874 in the times of 1974, Brooks hired a new writing team. Years earlier, a young man would approach Brooks at Chock full of Nuts in New York constantly, explaining to him that he was a lawyer and dreamed of being a comedy writer. Brooks told him to write an episode of Get Smart and send it to the showrunners, and if they liked it, he would put the man in his address book. That writer was Norman Steinberg, who not only was hired by Brooks for Blazing Saddles, but he also went on to write the 1984 Michael Keaton comedy Johnny Dangerously and My Favorite Years, starring Peter O'Toole.
Oh, wow. That's a good movie.
Another of the new writers was a nightclub comic by the name of Richard Pryor.
Woo!
Pryor focused mainly on the character of Mongo, writing the hilarious Bugs Bunny-style gags that Sheriff Bart played on the poor dumb sap. When the final script was approved, Brooks stated that he was terrified of being arrested or shot upon its presentation. Mel Brooks was insistent on casting the up-and-coming stand-up in the role of Bart, Richard Pryor. However, Warner Brothers did not want to take a chance on him due to the fact that he was very unreliable. They instead suggested Flip Wilson to Brooks, but thankfully, upon the suggestion by Richard Pryor, the very gifted, charming, handsome, and extremely funny Cleavon Little was finally cast in the famous role. Cleavon Little was a Tony Award-winning stage performer. He appeared in dozens of television shows, including The Waltons and All in the Family. Pryor stated to Brooks that he was too light-skinned to play Bart, but Cleavon would walk into the Wild West and scare the shit out of all the white folk. Cleavon Little's roles varied from Sheriff Bart to Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. He unfortunately passed away in 1992 at a very young age, but his solid body of work and enormous talent lives on as a legend. If you guys haven't seen any of the other movies that he's done, he pops up in these movies. Sometimes he's a leading man, but he got a lot of smaller roles. But everything he's in, he's fucking great. If you guys haven't seen Once Bitten, which is a 1985 Jim Carrey vampire movie.
No.
Cleavon Little plays the gay familiar of the head vampire in the movie, and he's fucking hysterical. You gotta check out.
The head vampire is Lauren Hutton.
Yeah, you gotta check out Once Bitten. He's in that. He's also in Vanishing Point. If you guys are familiar with that movie, which is like a 70s car chase type movie, but he plays a blind radio DJ that's helping this guy get across from state to state running from the cops. Really, really talented guy, and it's a shame we lost him so early on because it would have been cool to have some more Cleavon Little movies.
Yeah, God.
Originally intended for the role of Head Lee Lamar was Brooks' old friend and colleague, Carl Reiner. But according to Harvey Korman, when the guy they want is too expensive and the next guy down on the list is too busy, you call Harvey Korman. Brooks considers Korman to be the greatest second banana who ever lived. During production, actress Hedy Lamar got word of the jokes at her expense and sued Warner Brothers due to the heavy parody of her name.
That's stupid.
Brooks stated, "She's great. We love her. Just give her the money." He also nods to this lawsuit in the film, where Headley corrects the governor in spelling his name. The governor replies, "Hey, this is 1874. What are you worried about? You could probably sue her." So he actually talks about the lawsuit in the movie.
That's clever.
Yeah. Mel Brooks realized that because he had filled his epic Western with a bunch of Hebrews from New York, he decided the film needed a little more authenticity. Actor, rodeo performer, and real-life cowboy Slim Pickens was hired as Taggart. When he showed up to the Lancaster Palmdale shooting location, he stayed on set night and day, setting up camp with his rifle, his dog, and his beans. Let's see.
That's true?
Yeah, that is true. Before her role in Blazing Saddles, Madeline Kahn worked as a singing waitress in a German-themed restaurant. How about that?
Oh, my God.
During her first audition, Mel Brooks told her that he wanted to see her gams. She said, "Oh, so it's that kind of audition. Fuck you." Brooks insisted to her that he was happily married and that the character was a parody of Marlene Dietrich, and the actress playing the character would need to have her beautiful legs. She lifted her garments, showed off her amazing gams, and she got the part immediately. She was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her performance as Lily von Stupp. This was her second nomination at the time, her first being for her role in Paper Moon. In 1973, she was fired from the production of Maine by its star, none other than Lucille Ball, due to creative differences. This event led her to Mel Brooks casting her, and the rest is history. How about that?
Man, that is something. Madeline Kahn is incredibly talented.
Yes.
Incredible, powerful singing voice.
Mm-hmm.
She really, and of course she went on to become a mainstay of Mel Brooks, which kind of like
Many
Cloris Leachman,
collaborations.
Harvey Korman. Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Jim,
look at that.
the Waco Kid was originally intended for Dan Daly, an actor, dancer, and comedian of the golden age of cinema. Due to the racial obscenities used so heavily in the film, he turned down the role. During the production of Young Frankenstein, Brooks handed a script over to his writer and star, Gene Wilder, then called Black Bart, and offered him the role of Hedley Lamar. Wilder turned down the role but expressed an interest in the Waco Kid, and eventually Gene Wilder gave him the role. Mel Brooks is quoted in saying, "I wanted an old alkie and I got a young Jew, but he was fantastic in the part." Let's see. The Hays Code, implemented in 1930, dictated many moral standards in cinema, such as the censoring of use of sympathetic villains, any positive representation of divorce, and showing a single bed for an on-screen married couple. This, along with the television code, held the standard for broadcast content, and none were more affected than the Western genre. By 1958, there were more than 50 Western television shows airing over 4 channels. That's a lot, guys. 50 different Western shows on 4 channels.
Wow.
Because of these high moral standards, the shows were sterilized and had very little true historical depiction of what the West was actually like. Blazing Saddles completely dismantled this idealized depiction of the American frontier and takes the cruel reality of the Wild West and gives us the gift of being able to laugh at it. After the success of the film, the Western genre as we knew it was completely killed, paving the way for revisionist Western films like High Plains Drifter and Unforgiven.
Oh, man. Yeah.
One day in the Warner Brothers commissary, John Wayne approached Mel Brooks and said, "I hear you're doing a Western where they say, blow it out your ass." Mel said yes, and he asked Wayne if he would appear in the film. The Duke turned him down, but said he would be first in line to see it. The first scene of its kind to ever appear in modern American cinema belongs to the Blazing Saddles campfire scene, where a dozen cowboys shovel down gallons of black coffee, piles of beans, proceed to blow the barn doors out their breeches. Before this ground and wind-breaking film, no one had ever farted before on screen. Because of the enthusiastic bursts of laughter from the audience during the scene, Brooks knew he had to have the sound editor turn up the farts to 11 so they could still be heard. The TV version of this movie completely censors the gas-passing sound effects, leaving the actors lifting their legs in complete silence.
God, that's stupid.
The film was almost vaulted before its release. The test screenings for the Warner Brothers execs were going terribly. They were about to shut down the production and shelve it forever. One executive grabbed Brooks and told him to take notes. "No farting! You can't beat up an old lady! You can't punch a horse!" The notes went on, and Brooks agreed. After the exec left, Brooks crumpled up the notes and threw them in the trash. He didn't make one of those changes. Thankfully, it was decided to give it a limited release in several major cities to see how it would do. The response was very positive, and the film was just barely given a major release. Other nominations include Best Editing and Best Song for Academy Award by composer John Morris for his title song performed by Frankie Lane. Frankie Lane, a singer who had performed many a theme tune for Western movies and television shows, had no idea the film was a parody when he was recording the Blazing Saddles theme song. Many of the jokes in the film were very controversial, as we all know. But there was one joke that Warner Brothers made Mel Brooks remove from the final cut. Apparently, after Lily and Bart turn out the lights and the lovemaking begins, Lily says, "Is it true what they say about you people being gifted?" Zip. "Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true." Bart originally responded, "I hate to disappoint you, ma'am, but you're sucking on my arm." Good joke. It's a good joke.
It's a good joke.
Oh, that should have stayed in.
Many deleted scenes exist from the film, and rather than spoil them for you guys, I would encourage you, after the show's ended, to search them out for yourselves. They are worth the watch. I saw some scenes that were deleted from this movie on the internet. I had never knew that they were there. They're really funny. Go check them out. A TV spinoff was produced in 1975 after the film's release called Black Bart. The role of Sheriff Bart went to none other than Academy Award winner Louis Gossett Jr. The news story was based on Andrew Bergman's original script before Mel Brooks was involved, and the proposed series never made it past the pilot movie. This is an interesting one. The incredible, uncredible Wikipedia reference site describes this film as being a Western black comedy. Joke writes itself. My final note, this film single-handedly turned actual racism and real bigotry on its head and all but extinguished its flame simply by making fun of it. Take notes, kids. This is how you stop real darkness, real hatred. This is how the cancel pigs are stopped. This is how the finger-wagging activists are shut down. Laughter is the weapon they do not have. Humor is the battle tactic that they do not understand. Celebrate the good and make fun of the bad. That's what I have, guys. This is a fantastic movie, and I love at the end when they're riding on the horse and they just get in the limo and drive off into the sunset. Yeah, this movie is side splitting, and a lot of these notes I had no idea that this was the very first farting scene in a movie. How about that? They were terrified. Warner Brothers execs were like, you can't have farting. You can't show people farting like that. Brooks said, nope, gonna do it. Don't care. So
I mean, just the very name Lily Von Stupp is just so goddamn funny. and I just like in the middle part of the song where she's so languid, she just goes,
There's a part in the scene during that number. She goes to lean against the wall and there's nothing there and she doesn't realize it. And then she leans up against the post after readjusting herself. She's so tired, like she about falls over. Yeah. What a great movie.
Oh man, it is fucking hilarious. Robert, anything you want to say about this great movie?
Well, can you skip me and go to Mexican Iron Man? He has to leave pretty soon. And
sure thing. Poor Mexican Iron Man. He has been on the job today. Mexican Iron Man, what do you think about this movie?
So, I got to pop out, but I got to pack up and get to a hotel so I can get to another client tomorrow in another city. But I wanted to tell you people, anybody that hasn't watched this movie, it is an incredibly entertaining ride. It is incredibly well written. Doomcock, I didn't see this movie for the first time until about 3 years ago.
Wow.
And I was on the floor laughing. I had to stop the movie. I was watching it at home. I had to stop the movie. It was one of the first movies I saw when I moved to Hilton Head. And I had to stop it like multiple times because I couldn't stop laughing. It is the creativity. It is so well written and well cut. And the scenery shots, like if you go back a few slides, the scenery shots, all the shots, it's just incredibly well done. Incredibly well done.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. And only shot for
popcorn.
Right.
God, that's funny.
Like that one right there. Look at that shot.
Yeah. And I've been there, Grauman's Chinese Theater,
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
damn.
I mean, everything is well thought out here. Everything from the depth, the shot selection, how close the shot, that scene right there, man. This is a classic for the ages. And you know what? We need to dare to be creative again. This movie is, it's simultaneously it's an uncomfortable watch, but it's a hilarious watch.
It really is. It's a fucking classic. Mike, thanks for all your service today. I know that you've been going and going and going. You're the Energizer Mexican, and we're very, very proud of you, sir.
Oh yeah, I love for this stuff, and I live for this stuff. And look, people often tell me like, why do I give so much? Look, if I didn't care, I would have dumped the stock a long time ago. And we're in a battle, and I'm going to go back to something that you talked about earlier. We've got to stay on top of Disney, and we got to fight for the victory of Disney. Because if we lose 100 years of history, then we've lost part of our culture and our civilization. So I'm here for it. I'm all for it. And literally in 8 weeks from now, we've got you want to talk something entertaining? I think from here on out, Doomcock, every week something, if not every week, every other week, something's going to happen leading up to this shareholder meeting that's in April. Yeah. So I'm here for it, brother. I'm here for it. And thanks for all your great videos. You're on fire. So keep it up. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Love you, buddy. Have a great one, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Bye, everybody.
See you, Mike.
See you, Mike.
See you, Mike.
Also, let me go ahead and get to Fet for Hire here, because we haven't heard a lot from Fet for Hire, but I'd love to hear what do you think of this movie, Fet for Hire? Do you like it?
Yeah, I do. I haven't seen it in forever, so I rewatched it yesterday to refresh my memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite Mel Brooks movie. I would have to agree with you that would probably be Young Frankenstein.
Good man.
But man,
I love
the fact that this movie would just make social justice warriors of today's heads explode. It's just a classic for that reason alone. And one of my favorite scenes in this movie is where the sheriff rides into town, and the citizens are giving him grief for being black, and he holds the gun up to his own head and takes himself hostage to escape.
Yeah,
I thought that was so funny. And talk about Gene Wilder, an actor who just gives 110% in every role that he plays. I mean, how can you not love Gene Wilder? And
I love that part right there. Excuse me while I whip this out. And you see David Huddleston puts his hat over the woman's face. By the way, guys, I don't know if you realize, but that's David Huddleston on the camera left there, stage right. And that is the Big Lebowski.
Yep.
Oh, no shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him?
And yeah, that's him. That's the Big Lebowski himself. And then I can't remember the actor's name on the other side, but that's Magnum's boss.
Yeah,
Higgins.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Hillerman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course that is, yeah. Fantastic. Fet for Hire. So you really enjoyed your rewatch of this.
I did. And that scene where the bad guys are riding into the fake Rock Ridge, and they set up that toll booth right in the middle of the desert. Did anybody else think of the scene from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, they couldn't have thought that scene would have been taken seriously. But I don't know.
That was one of the worst scenes I've ever seen. I mean, Darth fucking Vader, like there's this little wall of flame there, and he's got the Force, Fet for Hire. I mean, he didn't have to run through the flames himself. He could use the Force to drag Obi-Wan over to the other side. He could order the stormtroopers to go over there into the flames and get his ass and drag him back. He could have gone around the block. He could have called in TIE fighters. It's just the stupidest bunch of shit. Anyway, sorry, don't mean to. You triggered me, dude. You triggered me.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, just one final thing. I just want to point out how awesome Madeline Kahn is. You hear everybody talk about like Terry Garr from back in the day and everything, but Madeline Kahn, she had, back in the day, my friends and I used to say certain women had the thing. You didn't know what it was. She wasn't necessarily drop dead gorgeous, and maybe not even your type, but for some reason you just wanted to bang her.
Yeah,
she had the thing.
Yeah,
so she definitely has a thing. Now, women having a thing these days, that's a whole different story. We won't go there. But she's old school. The thing,
the wrong thing, ma'am.
The wrong thing.
No, I know what you mean, and sometimes they can kind of lose it too. I mean, like for me, Gillian Anderson was like a goddess that was irresistible in seasons 1 through 4 of the X-Files, and then like season 5 on, she was still attractive, but it just wasn't the same. It didn't drive me insane to see her.
The thing can come and go. It's weird.
The thing that you're talking about, dude. Well, I really appreciate it, Fed for Hire. I just wanted to make sure you got to weigh in on your contribution there, and because we really like having you on the show, and I just wanted to hear what you thought of this movie. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's about it. Just if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it before it vanishes. That's gonna happen, I think.
Amen. Robert Wright, what do you think, buddy?
I love this movie. It's my second favorite Mel Brooks movie behind Young Frankenstein, which is my favorite. And I saw this as a kid. My parents let me watch this. They introduced me to Mel Brooks and all these wonderful comedies. So I just grew up with it. It's just a lot of fun. But first, I want to point out that, get it on physical media, because movies like this will go away pretty quick if they get their hands on it. And this I have the box set of Mel Brooks's seven movies, and it's got Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, History of the World, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights, Silent Movie, High Anxiety, To Be or Not to Be, and 12 Chairs. So it's a really good DVD set if you get a chance to pick it up. But this movie in particular is just hilarious. I think Madeline Kahn was just brilliant in it. Cleavon Little, he's excellent. He plays an excellent Sheriff Bart. Gene Wilder's fantastic. Slim Pickens is great. But Harvey Korman, for me, kind of steals it as Hedley Lamar, because he's just so devious. And one of the things that he does that doesn't get pointed out in this movie, that you didn't see a whole lot in theaters back then, is that he breaks the fourth wall. There's a scene where he is in his office scheming, and he's making these plans. It's like, why am I telling you this? And it's hilarious because he breaks that fourth wall, and they proceed to break the fourth wall really big time at the end of the movie. But it's one of those movies that actually does it, and you don't see that in movies hardly ever at all. Mel Brooks plays a lot of great roles in it. One of the things that we always would joke about was when the governor goes, harumph, harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of you. Give the governor a harumph. So I always thought that was funny. And just the things that Mel Brooks would do as the governor in this is hilarious. And on the DVD that I've got, it's got a couple of cut scenes. There's some cut scenes with the governor. There's some cut scenes where after they are trying to dress up as those ghost guys with the bad guys, and they're running away from them, they actually find a place where people are being baptized, and they actually fall into that crowd, and it's actually a funny scene. So look those up if you haven't seen those. I'm sure they're on the internet, but if you get it on the Blu-ray, those are there. And then I wanted to plug, there's a character actor, Burton Gillum, as Lyle. He actually is from my neck of the woods. He's from Dallas. And one of my friends, he actually did some financial work for him as a lawyer. And Gillum accidentally invited him. He intended to invite somebody else with his name to a Mavericks game and a golf outing. And when he showed up, Gillum was like, "Oh no, I meant to invite this other guy." And it was just kind of a funny side story. Gillum's the other cowboy that's the second guy to Taggart. That's the one guy that says all the bad shit that we can't say on here. But he's a funny guy, and I've heard he's a real nice guy. And he used to do all kinds of commercials around here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's how I knew him before this movie, before I even saw this movie. But this movie is so funny. It's got so many different things. And the key thing about this movie is it makes fun of just about everybody. I mean, he lists all the bad people in the world, and he mentions Methodists. I mean, he even mentions that. I mean, it's just hilarious. And my aunt and uncle who go to Methodist church are like, they laugh at that joke. They think it's hilarious. But go see this movie if you get a chance. It'll make you laugh. It's one of those things where we need to take a step back and really realize that, hey, all of us can laugh at each other, and we can all, it's what it means to be human, is to be able to laugh at yourself. And That's what this movie does.
Amen. Well said. Douglas, what do you think of this movie?
Well, it was the fart heard around the world. Probably one of the greatest Westerns ever made. Featuring the angelic voice of Madeline Kahn.
Oh, yes.
Now, I always loved this one. And I mean, since then, it's become this metric of, you could make this today and all that sort of thing. And I always couched it when it comes to the metrics of offensive humor and whatnot, is that it's Blazing Saddles. It's not Birth of a Nation, and that's the understanding you have to come to it. But yeah, I don't know if I could ever quantify it completely. I think for me, it's like a tie between this one and Young Frankenstein in different ways. Mm-hmm. But there, and I mean, all the movies he did, well, maybe not all of them, but it was riffing on the popular genres of film and what have you. But an interesting thing, Gary mentioned the TV series, and the backstory to that was Blazing Saddles was a smash hit and all this stuff, and they wanted Brooks to do a sequel, and he was like, and he knew that this was a possibility, and the contractual obligations was that there would have to, he put in there would have to be a television spinoff of the series for it, because he didn't want to do a sequel. How could you? He did everything you could do in it. It's a solid film unto itself. Anything else would take away from it. So they did the TV series. The pilot you can see, but they actually shot I don't know how many seasons. And Lou Gossett Jr. talked about this, said yes, for a couple of years this was a paycheck for him. There would be a couple of months he would go and shoot episodes of this, never to be seen.
So the show was shot, just never shown. Wow.
It was never shown. Only the pilot. It aired once, and I think the Blu-ray, you can see the pilot episode that they shot, and the rest of it was. But it was only for that interest that they could hold Mel Brooks to it. But the logistics was, the Blazing Saddles came and went, and they didn't really see that there was a bankable interest to pursue a sequel at that point. But that's one of those crazy stories of Hollywood, which I guess has been outmatched by now in the current era we're in.
I don't know, man. I mean, I mean, do you believe that? I've heard this rumor. I mean, the thing is that, and Gary, I mean, the weird thing about it is I've heard, like you just said, Douglas, multiple seasons were shot. Now, how is that fucking possible? I mean, I could understand, like, okay, they shot 6 episodes and only aired 1, but multiple seasons?
That's what I heard.
Do you believe that? I mean, do you guys believe that?
And I find it almost again impossible about how many they shot, but it was more than just the pilot,
Yeah, well, I could believe like that, okay, 6 episodes or some shit, and they only aired 1.
I mean, Lou Gossett had talked about it, and it was like it was just something he did for a while. He was doing other work and stuff, but this was, a couple of months he goes and works on the Blazing Saddles show.
I just can't believe. I mean, Admiral Teague says I've heard this story too. So have I, but I've just never been able to fucking believe it. So you're saying Lou Gossett himself said this?
Yeah, someone asked him about it, and he went on about it, and said, "Yeah, did that for quite a while."
Jesus Christ! I mean, why wouldn't? Well, whatever. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but it boggles. I've always wondered about this urban legend, or if it's a unknown factor. What the fuck? It seems completely insane to me. I mean, that shit costs money, and they would never do anything to it. Like even today. Like,
yeah, you would think it could package it and put it out there, but
they just wanted to flush money away. Were they woke?
Well, look where we are now, dude.
I know, but they're doing it for agenda.
So, here you go. So
okay, Gary's got the story.
This sitcom had reportedly been produced by CBS, with Warner offering them the sole TV rights to any and all Blazing Saddles films in exchange for production of the series. and would be filmed on a soundstage during the winter break, a time during which most of the other TV productions would be on hiatus. Every year, a 6-episode season of Black Bart, as opposed to the traditional 24 to 26 episode seasons of most sitcoms, would be produced, with Steve Landsberg allegedly stating in 1996 interview that production of the series was like a sick joke, and that if I wasn't under contract, I would have walked. So they did. Apparently, they did. Each season was only 6 episodes.
Jeez,
but they probably did a couple of them. Maybe they did 12. Maybe they did 2 seasons at 6 each. But they shot it on hiatus, and apparently they did it for the. It was part of the agreement that CBS would get the television rights to Blazing Saddles to air.
There you go.
So there you go.
Lord, dude, I can't. So where are those? Where are those?
I don't know. I'm looking for
episode
them right
actually
now.
in special features on the Blu-ray, that I've got on here.
No, what about it?
I think it's the pilot episode.
The pilot, yeah.
Oh, the pilot. Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen the pilot one. It wasn't very good, but you know. But I'm just curious. Well, anyway, go ahead, Douglas. Sorry, man.
It's an interesting oddity about it.
Very weird.
And when I first heard it, I was thinking, well, because like the current era we're in of the insane things they're doing and whatnot. It's just you're burning money and whatnot. But here, the lengths they would go for it because they thought they had this hot property they could milk for years and that sort of thing, and it just didn't work out. But nevertheless, they did it anyway. Never to be seen, so whatever. But anyway, always loved this movie. It never gets old, and it's a crowning achievement. And Mel Brooks in his prime, and what else can you say about it? It's an absolute masterpiece. And actually, when I first saw you mention we were going to do it, I thought I could have sworn we already did.
Yeah, me too.
But and of course, it stands again as quite the metric overall in approach to art and film, and so it's an entity unto itself, even beyond just being a comedy. So a crowning achievement to be sure, and you have to treat yourself to see it if you haven't. And again, it's one of those things where I envy you that you get to see it for the first time.
Yeah, and show it to a snowflake. I would love
just to see the reactions.
Their heads
will get up and
explode.
leave. I mean,
There's a lot of great reaction videos on YouTube of people seeing these this movie for the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the general consensus is a lot of them, people that you think probably wouldn't like it, they loved it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, but I think there should be stations in every city, in every metropolitan area, like on a street corner, have a big screen and be showing Blazing Saddles, and you just see, people bursting into flame, piles of purple hair and nose rings just littering the streets. Where'd they come from? I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's like Gary's making the point. I think that would be at a minimum. I think most of these people, they would think it on the surface, but once you see it, it's good. It's so well done. We even commented on the actual cinematography is excellent and all that sort of thing. It's a good film, and I think it has the power to win people over.
Yeah, well, all I can say is I really do love the landscape shots, and particularly the hills in this particular frame are.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Very, very. I mean, no one's complained. Mr. Morden says, "Why am I staring at great breasts?" Because they're there, Mr. Morden.
Right.
Because they're there.
And it's better than looking at any of us.
That's how I feel about it. But I'm a straight man, so what can I say?
A lot of boobs on this screen.
My computer froze.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Just let it freeze. Thanks, Douglas, man. I appreciate you inspiring that question, because that's always been a weird thing to me. Nick, what do you think of this movie?
This is one of the all-time greats. This movie is freaking hilarious. I absolutely love it. I agree with what everybody here on the panels said, so I'm not going to repeat a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the same things that were in my head. Couple things, though. I didn't realize that Alex Caress, who played Mongo, was the dad in Webster.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
It's the same
Mad
guy.
Bull,
They look
yeah.
his character in Webster and then his character in this. They look like two totally different people to me.
Professional
But
football
they
player.
were almost
He's
a
a
decade
football
apart.
player too, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he
professional-
Yeah,
was,
he
yeah.
was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, did he play for Chicago?
Yeah.
Was it the Bears?
Mm-hmm.
He did a movie called Mad Bull where he was a wrestler that has a crazed fan.
Yeah, I can't remember, but this movie is so well done, and just like what Gary was saying a minute ago, this is one thing I was going to bring up. I love watching black people actually react to this movie, because looking at their faces at the beginning and then seeing what they think of it at the end, they're going into it like, oh man, it's one of these. And then at the end, they absolutely love it because they come to understand and realize this isn't any kind of racist movie at all. And if you actually watch the movie, it reminds me a little bit about the speech at the end of Rocky IV, where Rocky's talking about,
Right.
you know, during this fight, you know, I saw a lot of change, and I saw the way me changing how the way I felt about you and the way you felt about me. And this movie, that town, and it was a town of Rock Ridge, you know, all those people hated Bart, you know, is the sheriff, wanted to kill him and everything. But by the end of it, they're all working together and they all come to accept him as the sheriff, you know?
Right.
You know, so I like that message in there. And I think that message is missed by a lot of people that just look at this on as a surface level, you know, from maybe the beginning of the film or something. But this is so well done. If anybody out there has not seen it, it's absolute must watch.
Amen. Well said. Andy Masterson, do you agree? Is it a must watch?
I love this film. I have seen it many times over the years, and even though the humor tends to offend many, many people, I found it very funny. I especially enjoyed the cast. Gene Wilder with his lightning fast reflexes was fantastic, and Cleavon Little as the non-traditional hero was spectacular. I especially liked Madeline Kahn and the other ladies, especially the old granny, because she was very sweet.
What is this, a hostage fucking video? What the fuck?
I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, you didn't want to say anything
What's the third
untoward
grade?
or get
We had to keep
trouble.
Masterson on a leash tonight,
Yeah,
so he
that's
had to read
good.
a prepared
Well,
statement.
Thank
know.
you. Thank
Well,
you.
you gotta
That was
understand.
appropriate.
Well, you got to understand, like Sheriff Bart, Andy also took himself hostage.
Ah,
I did show this movie. My son just saw it today with me for the first time, and my wife watched it as she rolled her eyes many, many times, but she couldn't help but laugh at several different points in it. This film pokes fun at everyone. I don't think that there's really anybody that it hasn't stereotyped, which is the genius of it. And there's a certain parallel to Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the ending, where it just goes off in a completely different direction than
Right.
anyone possibly could have imagined. I think the scene with the toll booth is perhaps one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And today,
Has
as I'm
anybody got a
watching-
dime? Somebody's got to go back and get a shitload of dimes.
We're never going to get a Rock Ridge.
as I
They're
was
going
watching-
through one at a time.
Head them off at the pass. I hate that cliche.
As funny as that scene is, I think my co-viewers today were laughing more at me laughing at that scene than they were laughing at the scene itself.
Yeah.
To this day, I find it one of the funniest things imaginable. It just like the genius, like, how do we put a toll booth in this way?
I think that was a Richard Pryor gag.
yeah.
He wrote
kinda
all
like-
of the sort of Looney Tunes gags that Sheriff Bart was kind of using to outsmart all the,
Yeah.
the idiots. Like, it's one of the best ones.
One of
It's
my
kinda
best friends.
perfect, I mean, it's like because Warner Brothers is the Bugs Bunny studio,
Right.
so I mean, all these Looney
Yeah,
Tunes
yeah.
jokes is kind of perfect. Candy Graham from Mongo,
There,
Bugs
there are
Bunny.
actually several cut scenes where he does some different stuff to Mongo that are just hilarious.
Oh
If you
God,
look those up. They're
I'll go. Yeah,
They're classic.
fantastic shit.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they actually shot a lot of this movie over by the Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah, I
which
was
is
seeing
famous, obviously, in Star Trek.
Right.
And lots of other westerns, but it's always cool seeing that location.
Yeah, I really love it, man.
Yep, and you own it now.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You planted the flag up there.
I did. It was
Great
for your
personal
birthday.
risk and
Yep.
dedication. Holy shit.
Yeah, boy. I'm really glad I didn't fall off that rock because
God, me
that
too.
article would have been hilarious.
Oh,
The moron who fell from outer space.
He was wearing what?
Yeah, exactly.
who is Doomcock?
It literally fell out of Forbidden Planet into the middle of the rock. It would have been really, really stupid.
It would have been bad, man. Would have been bad.
Very embarrassing. But I climbed higher than Leonard Nimoy did, or Leonard Nimoy's stunt double, I should say.
You mean Shatner's stunt double?
I mean Leonard Nimoy's stunt double in Star Trek 4.
Oh, Star Trek 4. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yep, it was
Well,
higher.
That's fucking amazing, dude. It's fucking amazing. Anything else to say that was scripted, Andy?
I never thought of a Vulcan getting high before, but now I'm curious. Anyway, no, I'm good.
Speaking of that, Leonard Nimoy did a video about 12 years ago for the Lazy song, and he plays the dude in this video. So look it up if you get a chance.
Wow. I will check that out. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed our retrospective on Blazing Saddles. Definitely a movie we all love. Let's go ahead and finish off these super chats, shall we?
Super chats, mofo.
All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Where did everyone go? What is going on with my computer? Some weird shit. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear us.
God, that's
I'm still
so,
here, El Alpo.
That's so. Oh, maybe it's soloed. Hold on a sec here. Why did it do that?
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? All right. The Top Hat Gentleman with a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says, I hope Gina embarrasses Disney thoroughly. Actually, Tony Yule was just sent a super chat while we were talking about Blazing Saddles, saying that Gina Carano was on Fox News spilling it all about her Disney lawsuit and
Jesse Waters.
Yeah, so we should go and look that up and check it out after the show. Jack White with a $10 super chat and a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jack, for both of those. The amazing Jack White. He says, Mike, I was glad to hear you enjoyed Space Battleship Yamato. You watched the original series from the 70s, right? If so, then check out the reboot that started in 2013 when you get a chance. And some series recommendations. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, and More Than a Married Couple, But Not Lovers, and Date Alive. Man, Jack just watches a lot of anime, and he knows a lot about it. There's no way to keep up with him, man. There's no way. He is the expert. He's the sensei. Thank you, Jack White. You're amazing, sir. Israel R. Join the channel membership at the Dumentite level. A new channel member. Thank you, Israel R. And hail to you, my friend. Echoes of the ancients, with a 99-cent super sticker of a happy face with some sunglasses on. Thank you very, very much. Echoes of the ancients. The Guardians of Azarath. The Guardian, excuse me, not plural. The Guardian of Azarath with a £5 super chat. Thank you, Guardian. Says, I suspect the new pirate will be Annie Bonny who was Irish, white, and a redhead historically in the late 1600s. Maybe also Mary Read. Well, if you're going to cast a white Irish redhead, I don't have a problem. I mean, I'm just a toxic male. I mean, ideology is one thing. Hot redheads is something entirely different.
This girl will definitely be the Black Irish, though.
Okay. Well, that may be it. We'll see. But you filled me with hope, Guardian of Azarath. Thank you for that. VintageGamer.com has been a channel member of mine for 4 months now. And Vintage Gamer says, Depp to play Musk in movie to be made about this. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they have bad blood between them, guys. I mean, Elon did, shtup, Amber Turd. So I don't know how Depp, I don't know if they're, bonded over it or they have problems with each other over it. I really don't know, but it is an odd thing, isn't it? Toddzilla with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Toddzilla. Says the people movers at Disney will be Teslas soon. Yeah. Well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? That would be funny. That'd be kind of a win. Roadhog 1167 with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Roadhog. Says, lady, please, I am not from Havana. Thank you, Roadhog 1167. Trevin Lane with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Trevin Lane. Says good news and bad news about how the Suicide Squad game treats the heroes. Flash was not pissed on. Well, that I heard he was. The other squad members stopped Boomerang from doing that. Oh, I see. But Batman killed Tim Drake. Okay, the third Robin. Swell. Well, regardless, I think that game is justifiably dead on arrival, and I think the more people shun it, the better. No doubt about it. Braid Zone is a new channel member as well at the Dominion level. Thank you, Brady Zone or Brady Zone or Brady Zone. I'm not sure how you spell it, pronounce it, but welcome to the channel membership, my friend. Thank you. Douglas Nelson, our own Douglas Nelson, been a channel member for 33 months now. Thank you, Doug. He says, hail Gina, hail Elon, hail Nelson, hail Doomcock, hail to you, Douglas Nelson, hero of this show, man. He has watched more bad shit for us than I can even count. He has lost more brain cells than I ever had due to terrible, terrible episodes. God bless you, Douglas Nelson. And Mercenary X21 with a $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. Says, hey, Nick and DC, be ready for outrage. Tucker interview with Putin. These wokies are like Al Capone. They don't hesitate to go that far. Remember Terry Crews when he said about a mafia in Hollywood, biblical. Well, thank you, Mercenary X21. Al Capone, eh? Interesting. I don't remember Terry Crews. Terry Crews? He said something about a mafia in Hollywood? Huh. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about when he had an experience that was sort of like Me Too.
Oh, okay. Pound Me Too, huh? Yeah. Like old Kevin Spacey style Pound Me Too, as opposed to,
Yeah.
Okay. Shit. Let's move on, shall we? London 19657 with a $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. London says your panel is great. I wonder how you all met each other. Maybe you could tell us. Great entertainment. Cheers, all.
Prison.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. We were all doing time on Devil's Island together.
Yeah,
it's a long story. Gary was raising rats. He was hopped up on ganja all the time. He thought he was raising pigeons, but they were rats. He was out of his mind.
Wings.
Yeah, well, no, they were just rats
without the wings. Yeah,
right. And it was the malaria, and he was racked with fever and smoking dope and. Douglas Nelson, he was engineering the tunnel that Nick and Mexican Iron Man were digging for us, one spoonful at a time, and
yeah, I actually met Andy Masterson on a cruise, and for some reason we couldn't find any ladies on the boat. So we had kind of approached each other and talked about this, and we thought, isn't this weird? Well, so we became friends anyway, but yeah, that's how Andy and I met. And funny enough, Mexican Iron Man was there too, but he looked really awkward and he ran away from us.
Yeah.
And then he jumped through a porthole.
Yeah. His ass got stuck though, and that's how we befriended him, feeding him, grapes and bananas to keep him alive as they, for the many weeks that he was jammed in there until he lost enough to slide through.
But no one wears a tutu like Mexican Iron Man.
It's true. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah,
I can vouch for that. Again, the cruise.
I started off as a fan, and then helped with the great William Shatner unblocking.
Yes.
And then we started our channel, and then reached out to Doomcock to narrate our documentary, and and then I sent DC a gift too, like Andy did.
The PlayStation 4 that I'm still using right now today to play Diablo 3 on, which I'm having a grand old time with. Fucking amazing game. I'm so addicted to it. I'm like a junkie. and Fet for Hire, sadly, poor Fet for Hire. I met him. He was a brilliant painter in Paris. He was just fucking, he was, like Monet, he was just out there painting the Eiffel Tower. And, he was written up in, Smithsonian Magazine. He had exhibitions around the world. And I thought, boy, I sure would like to get this guy to do artwork for me. How can I get him out of this fine art thing and ruin his life? I went ahead and addicted him to Mai Tais. I basically turned Fet for Hire into a girl drink drunk. His career collapsed. And now he's doing art for me, and I mix him up a drink now and then. Thank you, Fet for Hire, for making such a sacrifice for my channel.
Oh, you're very welcome. Are you sure Gary was the only one that was smoking that ganja?
I don't partake.
You're a bad liar, man.
Well, what can I do? I hold it up to the grill, but I can't really
inhale. I just couldn't do it.
I inhale deeply. It's mostly air, and I get ash from the. It just doesn't work.
President Entertainment Field for Harvey.
Say what?
He gives it to Harvey.
Yeah, I finally just gave it to fucking Harvey. He mellows him out, and he stops trying to break out all the time.
Oh, is that why that containment field is so smoky?
Hey, man, just call me Harvey Kush Thulu.
And get some munchies.
Keep him chilled out, man.
It kind of works. It kind of works. Hi Dragon Star with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Hi Dragon Star says Gina without Favreau is going to be a dumpster. She needs him to tell her story. Otherwise, Filoni will just side her at KK's request. Well, Favreau is there, as far as I can tell. I mean, it looks like the movie is on. So, I mean, we'll see. I think he's still there. We'll see. Knock wood, though. We'll see if this changes anything. Only time will tell. Evan Peterson with $5 super chat. Thank you. Evan says, reminder, Sigvaldason does not speak for the cult of Cthulhu anymore. Harriet Cthulhu is now in control.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. Harriet Cthulhu is too busy, pursuing woke causes and bullshit to head up any cult of Cthulhu. She's got nothing to do with it. This is false propaganda from Evan Peterson. Mercenary X21 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says, don't be surprised if Iger is throwing KK under the bus to save his own butt. He values his legacy over his own life. Remember rumors of KK's blackmail? I know, man. Cameron Pasha tends to agree with you. I will probably do something with him just so he can articulate his views on this and what Sparrow has told him. But it's a very volatile and strange situation, and I think only time is really going to tell what the hell is actually going on. We are all Devo with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Devo. Says, I stand by Gina and also by Harvey. Release the Cthulhu.
Exactly. Let me go. Let me go.
Poor Harvey. He's determined, isn't he? Brian Menden with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Brian says Gina was fired over social media. They didn't even have the guts to tell her to her face. She has a very strong case against KK. I hope you're right, Brian. I tend to believe that they wouldn't proceed unless they had something good. I just can't wait to see what it is. I hope we do find out. I hope that she doesn't settle. I hope it goes to discovery. Mercenary X21 with a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. Says, don't push the button. I need the Necronomicon.
Golly, what a sick guy. I only tell those jokes from the Necronomicon because they're so fucking painful, but people that enjoy it, very disturbing.
I know, man. It's a very strange phenomenon. Roadhog 1167 with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Roadhog. Says, badges. We don't need no stinking badges. That's right. Treasure of the Sierra fucking Madre. Great movie. Humphrey Bogart, for God's sakes. Amazing stuff. Love it. Jack White with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Jack. Says, I wonder if Robert Barnes is one of the lawyers that Musk is looking at to work on the Gina lawsuit and any other lawsuits Musk is planning to bring. If not, we need to send Elon suggestions to put Barnes on his list. Well, I'd be very surprised if that was the case and we hadn't heard anything from Barnes. I really enjoyed meeting him and talking to him. I don't know. I doubt that's the truth. I think she actually gave a contact name of email for the lawyer in charge in her Twitter post. I mean, her X post, whatever. So I don't think so, but anything's possible. He might come on later. Who knows? That would be super cool. Mercenary X21 with a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. Says Elon can be Elon can be subpoenaed for the Twitter messages. Think. Yeah, he could. Shit. He wouldn't really have to. He'd voluntarily deliver them, I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised.
Data Racer has a whole collection too.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I have no doubt. London 19657 with a $5 super chat that is relevant to UFO fans. London says, just to explain that the string vest thing, if you Google UFO /skydiver /string vest, you might see nipples. Yeah, the skydiver female uniform had a mesh top. And there have been times when I thought I could see nipples through the mesh top, but I think that the women on UFO with the mesh tops are wearing pasties over their nipples. I could be mistaken, but I have studied this to the extent that I could on the DVDs. What I really need is Blu-ray to properly assess if those are nipples or pasties over the nipples, but it's that kind of show, folks. Check out UFO if you like women and great miniature effects, because, man, it's got them in spades. Hamilton Berger with a $2 Canadian super chat. Thank you. Hamilton says, maybe I missed it earlier, but RIP Carl Weathers. Yeah, I don't think we actually got to talk about that on this show. But on Friday Night Frolics, I was informed that Carl Weathers had passed, and what a sad development. Everybody loved him. It was a very moving, tribute that Sylvester Stallone delivered for Carl Weathers, and he was apparently such a great guy. Even the pieces of shit over at Lucasfilm loved him. So may he rest in peace. Yeah. Very sad. Watsamata with a $10 super chat. Thank you. Watsamata says, Blazing Saddles, Considering the World in 1973 was an epic statement on racism. It showed hope for America. It showed the path forward. The people this pisses off are still the right people to piss off. Well said, Watsamata. Well fucking said. Beautiful, dude. Thank you. Sean Carter with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Sean says world-class bullshitters talked about this movie yesterday and played the trigger warning that is on the DVD. It's absolutely disgraceful and unnecessary. I'm so sick of that namby-pamby, woke-ass snowflake bullshit.
So stupid.
It's so fucking stupid.
So unneeded.
Yeah, it's crap, man. They do the same thing on like Gone with the Wind. You know? It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know, somebody was telling me today about, FX is, making Shogun, a new series of Shogun. And I just said, well, so is the Richard Chamberlain character going to be a woman? No. Well, is the Shogun going to be a woman? No. Well, is Japan going to be filled with black lesbian women? No. Okay, well, maybe I'll watch it. I mean, I can't believe it's not going to be, woke as fuck, but, maybe. I don't know. They would fail the Disney inclusion standards, though. It's just ridiculous. Like that fucking thing, Bridgington or some shit that is like set back in the 1800s and, has incredibly diverse cast. It's just the most stupid shit I've ever seen. It's completely historically wrong. God, I hate shit like that. I really do. I really hate anachronisms in movies. I hate that lack of authenticity. I couldn't stand Mulan because, the dragon in Mulan and, 16th century fucking Japan is, Eddie Murphy, like talking, urban slang and shit. And, it worked for the genie because the genie is, defies time and space and can travel around, has been everywhere. Dragon's just a dragon. I couldn't stand that. I can't even watch that movie. I like watched it once. I'll never watch it again. I really care about that shit. Same thing with Django Unchained, the Tarantino movie. It's just the modern sensibilities. It's just so stupid. I can't stand that shit. Mini rant over. We are all Devo with a $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. It says Blazing Saddles was literally the first DVD I bought. I watch it every Christmas. Fantastic, man. Good Christmas tradition. We are all Devo. Congrats. Green Hat with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Green Hat says watching Blazing Saddles is like looking inside the Ark of the Covenant to the woke. And I love it. I like that, man. Hail to Green Hat. I like that. Like looking into the Ark of the fucking Covenant. Tony Yule, Captain Seagal of the Black Templars with a $10 super chat and a $5 super chat, 2 in a row. Thanks, Tony. Says Gina Carano is live right now on Fox News about her lawsuit to Disney and Lucasfilm, and she is letting out everything and is trending. Good for Gina. Out fucking standing. And then Tony Yule says candles in chat for Toby Keith and Carl Weathers. I don't know if you guys knew that Toby Keith had passed.
I heard that yesterday.
Sad.
Very sad, man. He did voices, other than being a country western superstar. He also did, I think, voices on King of the Hill every once in a while, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, Tony Yule, and we appreciate that. And God bless Toby Keith and Carl Weathers. Bun $2.99 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Says one of my favorite bits in any movie. Where are you headed? Nowhere special. Nowhere special, huh? Always wanted to go there. Nicely said, Bun. Thank you. And we are all Devo with a $10 super sticker of the Invisible Man. I thank you very, very much. Hail to We Are All Devo. And the amazing Rod Thunderheart with a $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you so much, Rod. Says, hail my liege. I hope Gina crushes Bob Weatherman. Suggestion for future movies we love, the Kentucky Fried Movie.
Good one.
Oh man, that is a good one. Shit, that is a great one. Great suggestion. We may have to take that under advisement. Also, someone in the chat suggested Repo Man.
Oh my God, yeah.
That is a great.
what a weird fucking movie, but yeah, it's really good.
It just has that really kind of angry, 80s, proto-punk, post-punk kind of anger. I just really
so
like the
weird.
hostility in it. Yeah, it's a
so
great
weird.
one.
Yeah,
We could think about it. We think about that.
it's a fun one.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and plug whatever we want to plug. Gary Ambrosia, please plug anything you would like to plug.
Thanks, kids, for being here once again on Wednesday nights. We will be here next Wednesday just for you. Not for us. This is all for you. So hail to the chat. Hail to the wrenches. Hail to the panel. And we love you. And we'll see you next week. Stay angry, kids.
And by the way, next week is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Well, I know, but it'll be on Wednesday. So we'll probably have to
Yawn.
Yeah, or mock it or something. But it will be a Valentine's show. Robert, anything you want to plug?
Yes. Hey, I actually have a YouTube channel, Rob Writes Gen X Pop Culture. And I just released a video this past weekend on Sunday with my top 50 love songs from the 80s. So if you're inclined, check that out. This weekend, I'm going to do a video on The Princess Bride for Valentine's Day. So I've got that coming up. And then join us for Friday Night Frolics, 7:30 right here on Doomcock's channel. Doomcock sings some amazing songs. He has some parody songs. Harvey tells jokes. We have a great time in the chat. It's just a wonderful time to just come in and get a good start to your weekend with a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. So join us right here on Friday night.
Thanks a lot. Robert Wright, we appreciate that. Also in the chat, Kevin Stone says Basic Instinct for Valentine's Day, Lord Doomcock.
I think we had decided on Play Misty for me.
Oh, okay. Let's do that then.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Plus, we can't show the greatest shot in Basic Instinct, unfortunately, or we could put a happy face there, but
Yeah.
Although Doug could draw it for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
We rented that
That's
movie.
good.
My buddy Tim and we rented that movie, and he must have paused that scene like 10 or 15 different times. I was like, dude, okay, that's a little bit too much. But
Wonder what it looks like in HDR 4K.
well, that's the question.
It looks like Predator's face. That's what
Yeah.
Predator when he hasn't shaved in a while.
Yeah.
He's been on an away mission. Nick, go ahead and plug away, brother.
Yeah, so I am one half of Echo Base Network. We do our weekly live stream every Thursday night. So we will be live at 7 o'clock Central tomorrow night, probably talking a lot about this Disney stuff, the Gina Carano stuff, whatever else is going on out there. And then Friday afternoons at 2 o'clock Central Time, I run the EBN cast with me, Mexican Iron Man, Jonas J. Campbell from That Park Place, and Stone Loki. And we have a rotating special guest each and every Friday. This week, Drunk 3PO might be showing up to talk some of this Gina stuff. Just waiting on confirmation. If not, we'll have somebody else on there that I'll reach out to. But yeah, it's fun time Thursday nights and Friday afternoons over at Echo Base Network. So come check us out.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Douglas Nelson, a.k.a. Mr. Nelson, is a man of many, many enterprises. Go ahead and talk about them. It'll take about 30 minutes, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. And to answer the question, how did I meet Doomcock? Well, I was working on the Night Lair and decided to knock a wall out underground. And, well, wouldn't you know it, guess who the neighbor is? All the robots were mad, almost released Harvey. It was a mess. Doomcock was furious. But I made fun of Bad Robot and gave him some comic books, and we've been good ever since.
That's right. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. We share now, a laundry room, just like
Right.
Paul Simon and Lorne Michaels did in New York. It's a true story. They did, actually. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. The podcast is the Mr. Nelson Show over at radiomisfits.com or wherever you get your podcasts. It features my audio plays and most notably Night, which is also in comic book form over at indieplanet.com. So head over to indieplanet.com and get yourself a copy of the Night comic book. Oh, yeah. And you can check out for other Nelson needs over at the NelsonRatings.locals.com, which has all extra goodies of me and my stuff. Oh yeah, and you can also watch the Nelson Ratings on here on YouTube and Rumble, and have fun doing that. Hope to have a video on this Gina Carano story. I've already been working on the thumbnail, which I went ahead and gave to Doomcock.
Well,
with,
thank you.
Elon Skywalker, Princess Gina, and Obi-Wan Peltz.
Nicely done, man. Everybody loved it as you received compliments on it in the chat. Thanks a lot, brother.
All right.
You were awesome. Fet for Hire, speaking of awesome, Fet for Hire, what a great guy, huh? What a great guy. Yeah, got to give him a hand.
Oh, shucks.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you here anytime, Fet for Hire, anytime you can make it. And thank you. You say I don't have to thank you for all the artwork, but I do every chance I get because it's amazing. And thanks a lot, brother. And please go ahead and plug anything you'd like to plug.
Oh, sure. I'm Fet. You know what I do. And if you don't, you can find me on Twitter at _Fet for Hire, where you can see all my dick pics. What are dick pics? Well, I've been known to make parody posters, memes, GIFs, all sorts of cool things for our future ruler of Earth, Dictor Van Doomcock. Right. If you don't have Twitter, you can find me here on YouTube as well, at Fet for Hire, where I have an entire playlist where you can view these dick pics in video form.
Well, thank you, Fet for Hire. Next time you come on, we'll have to show some more of those on the show because they're fantastic, man. Cool. Thank you so much, brother.
My honor.
And please do subscribe to Fet for Hire. Follow him on X or Twitter or whatever you call it. And what a great guy. Such a pillar in the community. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
And Andy Masterson, go ahead and plug away. And thank you for the hostage video of restrained. When I figured out what it was great. Go ahead, man. You were so good.
Thank you very much. I have a little channel on YouTube where I do 1/6 scale stuff. And this week I plan on, which of course is the planning stages, which means it may not happen. But I want to talk about this guy, the new Blade Warrior figure. This figure is a nice figure.
Oh, wow.
Wesley Snipes, really cool, ratcheted action. So he can hold some cool poses and things. He's got sunglasses, a sword, all kinds of cool things going on there. And even the little thingies, he's got these little metal spikes in his pant leg and a holster.
Wow.
Very cool figure coming out. And I was really torn because there's also another one coming out from Susu Toys, which looks a little bit better. The head sculpt is a little bit more Wesley Snipes-ish than this, but it's for the money, it's really good. But I'll be reviewing that. Hopefully next week we'll be able to talk about some of the Daredevil scenes we've got of the new costume and the really, really crappy Daredevil costume, the really, really crappier Bullseye costume, which looks even worse. Oh. So hopefully this thing will never see the light of day because, well, yeah, I don't want to see my Marvel comic book characters desecrated further. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you check in Doomcock's channel on Friday night for Friday Night Frolics, and we'll see you guys all here next week.
Thank you, Andy Masterson. Subscribe to all of these folks. They are wonderful people. Hope to see you back here for Valentine's Day next week. And 2 more super chats came in real fast. Mercenary X21 says, my niece was born on Valentine's Day. Wow. That's kind of sucks. Everyone else will be celebrating other things, and it's kind of like being born on Christmas or Christmas Eve. It just sucks, man. You get gypped out of your presents, really, just terribly, terribly abused. But that's cool, Mercenary X21. I hope she'll have a wonderful day. And Joe Lamont with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Joe. Says DC et al. Made it in late. Will review. May I suggest 10? Oh, play Misty, okay. But 10 with Bo Derek for the future. Also, Saturn 3, Viva Carano, and stay warm, guys. Thank you, Joe Lamont. Yeah. 10 with Bo Derek. That was a fun movie, man. She was pretty fucking hot in that. Her eyes were just bewitching.
Can we just, for 1 second, praise John Derek? This guy married Ursula Andress, Linda Evans, and Bo Derek. Jesus, he must have been hung like Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
Probably
What
so.
can I say?
Oh my gosh.
Man, that is true. When you put it like that, it's just kind of eerie.
True,
the
man.
lucky shit that this motherfucker. God dang. Of course,
Well,
why
I knew
why
what
did
he
they
was.
leave him? Was
Because they got
Well-
tired of putting peanut butter in his mouth to make him talk.
Oh, Gary.
And on that high note, we're going to go ahead and sign out. That was brilliant. Comedy from Gary Ambrosia, ladies and gentlemen. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock and my panel of pop culture pundits bidding you all, my friends, have a wonderful evening and stay angry. See you Friday for Friday Night Frolics. Good night, everybody.
Good
Bye,
night,
guys.
everybody.
See y'all.
Good night,
See you
Xanadu.
later.
Good night, all. Thank you all for coming.